You cut me with that knife, man.
I wanted to see how sharp the knife was. Cut through his jeans, cut his leg.
2 pair of jeans ever short.
Hold on.
Right.
Where'd you cut me? It's still there. It's right there. 2 centimeters to the left, I ain't here. I bleed out.
And then you wouldn't have been here.
So I'm definitely where I'm supposed to be. There ain't no doubt about that.
All my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice, that's why. All my life, I've been grinding all my life. Look, all my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice, that's why. All my life, I've been grinding all my life.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Club Shay Shay. I am your host, Shannon Sharpe. I'm also the proprietor of Club Shay Shay. Stopping by for conversation and a drink today, well, he's one of the most dominant receivers to ever step on a field. One of the best ever run after the catch receivers in NFL history. In 7 seasons, he was a 5-time Pro Bowler, 3-time first team All-Pro, 3 times he led the league in receptions 3 times, led the league in receiving touchdowns twice, led the league in receiving yardage twice, and he also did the Triple Crown in 7 seasons. He's the first player to have back-to-back 100-catch seasons, never missed a game in his NFL career. He's one of 3 players in NFL history to have 575-plus catches, 8,000 receiving yards, and 65-plus touchdowns in his first 7 seasons. At the University of South Carolina, he was a 2-time All-American, and he had his number 2 jersey retired while he was still active. He's a part of the first set of brothers to ever be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And he's the best Sharpe brother of the family, my big brother, my hero, my role model, Sterling Sharpe.
Man, hey, you ain't have any more on there you wanted to read? I thought I did a little more. I thought I did a little more than that.
Yeah, well, he could drive a tractor at the age of 6.
Oh.
And I didn't know if you wanted CJ to put all that in there, man.
Dude, hey, it's what we did.
The last time, you're the first ever to repeat on Club Shay Shay. And the first time we did it virtually. Portier wasn't even a thing. And so for being the first set of brothers in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, you get to join your baby brother in your rightful place. And this would have been a long, long time coming. For everything that you've done, not only in the football field, because that's minute for what you've been able to do for this family. And so I think it's only right that we toast.
Oh, we're going to pour it up?
Yeah, we're going to pour it up.
Pour it up. Like my grandma used to say, if you got it, you better drink it or it'll go bad. I just had to do it, man. You know, I had to do it.
For people that watching at home, this is a commemorative. These are going to be available. This is the first time you're seeing this.
Yes.
And so this is 2,500. They're only available online. And this is my brother and I, as the first set of brothers in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. The Shay VSOP cognac, premium VSOP cognac, the best tasting premium VSOP cognac on the market. And as a commemorative of being the first brother in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Oh, that's tight. That's tight.
Portier thought we would do something like this. So people at home, this will be available. I'm not sure. I think it goes on sale, Wednesday, Jordan? I think it goes on sale the day we release this, which will be Wednesday. So congratulations, man.
Thank you, man.
It's been a long time coming, and I'm extremely happy. So,
oh man, this is the second time in the history of the Sharpe brothers that we've had a drink together. The first time we had a drink together was when you told me I was the 382nd member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So it's definitely a special occasion.
Very, very special occasion. As you know, Portier is poured in French. And everybody has heard me talk about what Granny has meant to me. I think people want to hear what Granny meant to you.
Well, the thing is I'm a firm believer that you have to learn to follow before you can lead. And she led us. You know, when we got to be old enough to where we were playing sports and I was driving us around, she never told us when to be home.
Right.
She only told us to be careful. And she always told us we knew right from wrong. So for me, what I got from Granny was the ability to, you know what to do. Now just go and do it. You know what, everything that you do goes home. Mm-hmm. So everything that we did, you know, even when we were in high school and we were, you know, as they like to say, putting up numbers.
Right.
that went home to Granny. And I mean, oh, Mary, your grandboys are doing so good.
Right.
But the thing is it was so wonderful because at the time, that was our only way to say thank you to her, other than saying thank you to her. And so it's a tremendous honor to be her grandson. It is a tremendous honor to be the first brothers in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And for me, my whole thing is if you don't have family, you really don't have anything. And I never looked at when I became successful or got money that I was helping my family. I was just doing what families are supposed to do.
Right. What would you say is your favorite Granny story?
My favorite Granny story is the fact that she was like, somebody gonna hit that little boy in his glob of mouth, because he talked all the time. And she wasn't talking about me. She was, that boy there, he somebody gonna put something heavy on him. That's what she would always, but the thing is my grandma never had a terrible or envious or evil bone in her body.
Nope.
She would give the shirt off her back, which she did to us, and bringing us in and taking care of us, in all those years. But all my granny stories would probably revolve around you, because we all knew that you were her baby. I mean, you could do no wrong. You could murder someone in front of her and she'd be like, nah, that older one did it. I seen it. She was all about her baby. And I think, in the times that I spent with her in the nursing home, because I would drive from Columbia to Glenville, be there when she ate breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then drive back. And, she would fall asleep and wake up and, you still here? I'm like, yeah, I'm still here. But I think she always knew, or she always felt, let me say it this way, that I would be okay. Mm-hmm. And she always felt that Libby would be okay. Mm-hmm. I think she was always concerned about you being okay. Mm-hmm. Like she was really afraid when I left to go to college that you were gonna be the same as you were when I was there. I think that always bothered her. And I think in my heart that she stayed here long enough that she got a chance to see what she needed to see from you. Mm-hmm. That she saw our playing careers, high school, college, and pro. She knew you were in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And I think that once she understood that there was nothing more she had to give you and that you were okay, I think it was okay for her to leave us. And I think that's what she did.
Right. What do you think the number one thing is that she taught you?
That I don't want to say my best is good enough. I phrase it this way. Everything I did, from cutting grass, picking tobacco, grinding feed, playing football, playing basketball, running track, being a junior deacon, leading devotional service, everything that I did, I tried to do better than anyone else did anything else. And most importantly, everything I did, I was my own standard. So I never failed. So if I wasn't the captain, or if I wasn't the fastest in this race, or if I didn't help lead my team to this victory, I was okay with that, because I knew I had did all I could do. And I think the thing I'm probably most proud of is everything I did athletically, I did for you. And I think she knew, and she wanted me, wherever I went, whatever I did, don't leave him behind. Don't leave.
You tried to.
Don't leave that. Well, it wasn't my fault. You 3 years younger. I had to go to college. It ain't my fault.
No, I tried to go out with you on Saturday night. Granny, make that boy stay home.
Well, the thing was,
I didn't want to stay home.
The one thing we had is we always had good friends in Glenville.
Yes.
And hanging out with I'll throw out a few names, with Calvin and Rodney and Lamont and those guys hanging out. It was an opportunity for us. I didn't drink then. I wasn't chasing women then. It was just hanging out with guys my age. And the thing is I can't hang out over here because I got to worry about this one here going. He always had to wander off and do his own thing. So it wasn't personal. I just want you to know, it wasn't personal.
When I tell the story about no indoor plumbing and not taking a shower in a home until I was 20, X, Y, and Z, people don't believe it. How many times have someone come up to you and say, man, I heard your brother say this and this and this about y'all getting leaked on, y'all having to go out to the woods, y'all having to take baths, eating this. How many times have people come up to you and say, man, is that true?
Probably 6 times a day for 54 years. And I mean, because they're like, there is no way the first time you lived in a house with running water was 1988. And I said, well, not for me. It was 1989 because in 1988, I went to Green Bay.
Right.
So I didn't live in the house. But yeah, and I get it all the time because it's hard to fathom in what was today's world. That's hard to fathom.
Right.
But, and I'll say this, Libby and I, our older sister, you tell stories about our upbringing we would never tell.
Right.
Because you can't explain or you can't walk people through what that's like. I heard you tell a story about going to practice and then, coming home, doing as much homework as you can, and then getting in the car and catching chickens. What people don't realize is you have to catch chickens at night. It's 9,000 degrees in that chicken house. When you come home to take a bath, you either gonna take a cold one or we're gonna have to heat up the water to be, and it's like, there are so many more layers that you can tell about our upbringing. But yeah, I get them all. I still get them to this day. Hey man, your brother said that your grandma did this. Your grandma hooked you in the eye with a hook because you was sitting behind her on a fishing pole. I was like, yeah. I mean, it was a perfect cast because she caught my eyelid and she thought she was hung and she just kept trying to unhang herself until I started yelling. I'm like, no, the story he tells, he is definitely telling the truth.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Because people find that say, man, this is not 40s and 50s and 60s. They're like, bro, we talking about late 80s.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we didn't have running water in the late 80s.
Yeah.
We had well water in the late 80s. We had to put the water in a tin tub and let the sun heat it.
Or we put it on the stove and boil it. I'll give you another one. People are amazed that I don't know how to cook. And I said, I grew up old school. When you went through Mary Porter's kitchen, you were either eating or you were walking through. You weren't learning how to, you weren't going in there to cook nothing in Mary Porter's kitchen.
Absolutely not.
That was not going to happen. We grew up as old school as you can get.
People don't believe when I tell them, I said, at the table, we couldn't talk.
No.
Only grown folks were allowed to talk. If you wanted to talk, you had to get up and go on the porch or you had to go in the living room. Only grown folks talked at the table.
Not only talk at the table, but when they were in the living room or the kitchen or when grown folks were talking, you had to go. So because that conversation that they were having was not for you, it was not about you, and it wasn't going to benefit you. So yeah, the respect of the kids go hang with kids. Oh, that was real.
What do you remember most about that 1,000 square foot cinder block home that had cement floors, had a tin roof, no paneling? It was, you spent the first 17 years there. I spent 20 years there. You left in 83. You got the house in 88. So I was 20. I'd never forget I was 20 when I
called your own room in the house.
Called my own room.
Yeah. Had your own TV, had your own bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it wasn't cast iron.
I have lived my entire life by this phrase because of how we grew up. This is my life. There are many like it, but this one is mine. I'm not embarrassed because we never went to anybody else's house to stay overnight. I'm gonna go stay at Lamont's. Or
people don't believe that.
You know what, man? I'm just gonna go hang out. I'm gonna stay at Cal's house this weekend, Granny. The only time we went somewhere to stay overnight was to go to our dad's parents' house in Reedsville, which is 14 miles away.
Correct.
We got there Friday, and Barney picked us up on Sunday.
Yes.
That is all. That is the only overnight we ever did. So the only thing.
4-H camp.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Did I go? I went to 4-H camp once.
You went to Rock Eagle.
Went to Rock Eagle. Yes.
I went to Rock Eagle twice, and I went to Camp Chatham.
Yeah, but the thing was, when I look at that house, It didn't motivate me or drive me to be this or that. It didn't scare me that I'm going to live like this for the rest of my life. It was us, man. I had my family. When I learned my jump shot playing with you in the yard. I learned my football moves on the fourth Sunday when Arnell, Eugene, Lanny, Robbie, Bernard, all of us would get together and play in the yard. I was never embarrassed by how we grew up. Remember, there was jokes. The boys used to make jokes about it. Man, y'all live so far out of town. They got to pump sunshine. Man, that was,
Man, Coach Hall, we don't want to ride. Man, drop us off first, Coach Hall.
Exactly.
No, sucker, y'all ride.
Hey, it can be raining in Glenville and it's snowing out in Tyson. Y'all live so far away.
Yeah.
Never bothered me.
No.
Because what it was us.
Right.
Always had us.
Right.
Always had my family. And that was never a motivating factor. Being poor never motivated me. Because remember, the greatest season I had in college, being a consensus All-American, being up in the top 3, 5 in catches, yards, and touchdowns, I had another year of college.
Right.
I could have easily have turned pro because everybody had already projected me as being a first-round draft pick.
Right.
And I remember Coach Morrison going, "What do you think?" And I was like, "About what?" He was like, "About turning pro." My family's been poor my entire life. What's one more year? They used to it. They're accustomed to it.
Right.
They're comfortable with it.
Right.
What's one more year? Because I enjoyed college. So when I think about Glenville, and let me tell you, every time I go to Glenville, I ride by that house because there's so many tremendous memories and fun times and growing up in that house with all of us, Mary Nell sometimes, Gladys, Jane, Shermadine, Libby, Dietrich, her son, me, you, Granny, and Papa. I have so many tremendous memories because all my life I lived in my head. Remember we played, that's my car.
Yeah.
That's my car.
Yep.
Remember, you know what, man? When I get some money, you know what kind of car I'm going to get? El Camino. Car in the front, truck in the back. bro, that's what I'm getting. So, for me, growing up was just a way of life in that 1,000-foot cinder block house. But I have such tremendous memories there, man. I don't have any negativity or, wow, that it wasn't tough because that's all we knew.
Yeah. It was definitely motivating for me because I was like,
but you were different.
But I was thinking, does everybody live like this? Now, a lot of our family members lived exactly how we live. When we go to their house, it was the same thing. But I'm thinking about the kids at school, my friends, do they have running water? Do they have indoor plumbing? I mean, they telling me they taking showers and they doing all this. I'm like, we don't do none of that.
I never looked at it that way. I mean, I looked forward to two things I look forward to. The fourth Sunday.
Yeah.
Because, Granny and Verabelle and Clarice and Doris and all our aunts were going to get together with Granny and they were going to cook.
Right.
And there was going to be cakes. And on the fourth Sunday, my grandmother was the mother of the church and my grandfather was the head deacon and the custodian. And we were in charge of the communion wine at Morgan David. We're going to get to finish off that Morgan David. It was 1,000 little cups and we were going to get to drink that. But you know what? We knew we were going to get to play.
Right.
We were going to get to enjoy ourselves. We were going to get to eat good. Those memories, man, live forever in my head. I love those times.
Nothing says summer like long days, clutch plays, and firing off a few bets on the game, all with DraftKings Sportsbook. Never bet on baseball before? It's easy. Pick a guy to go yard, hammer some live odds mid-game, or just ride with your squad and hope for the best. No spreadsheets, just vibes and dingers. Here's something special for first-timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use code Shannon, that's code Shannon for new customers, to get $150 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5 only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. People are mad. When it rained, did y'all really get rained on? Could you really lay in the bed and look up and see the sky, see the stars, see the moon from your bed? People ask those questions.
Yeah, we did. And which is really strange because it wasn't like we didn't climb up there and, oh yeah, hey, is this the hole? And you take a broom and you be like, right here. And you tar that area and be like, okay, now this area is not going to leak. Okay, and then over here, this ain't going to leak. And regardless of what we did, if it rained on us.
Right.
Yes, that's that. I mean, but that was just the way of
Right.
life then. That was just the way we did things.
What about the bathroom situation? Not being able to go to the bathroom indoors at a home until I was 20. You were 17 when you
When I
you
went to college. Yeah.
So prior to that, people don't understand. I was 6 or 7 years old.
You know, Libby gonna be mad when she see this, because Libby don't like you talking about them days. Lib, that's him. I ain't got nothing to do with it. I'm just sitting here.
I felt bad for you because if I had to go to the bathroom late at night,
I had to go with you.
Granny had
to go with you.
Make you hold a flashlight. We'd have to take the bug spray, especially if it was in the summertime because the mosquitoes had machetes and they weren't playing. If it was cold, if it was raining, you had to
hold it. And we didn't have an umbrella. We had like our aunts used to work at the Claxton Portier.
Yeah.
So they had these like plastic vinyl
like
aprons,
ponchos,
like
ponchos you go to the game with.
So while he's doing his thing, I got to stand over him with a little bit over me, and I'm like this. Yeah. But that was just the way it was, man. I mean, I would love to be angry that Papa didn't do better and make it better for us. I would love to be angry and be like, Granny, you see how we living? You ain't supposed to live like this. But the thing is when you don't know better, it's hard to do or be better. And I was like, this is who we are and this is what we do. And that's my little brother. And can't nobody hit him but me. And, well, Granny and Papa every now and then, but I couldn't say nothing to that. But that was the thing, is it was just us.
Right.
It was just our way of life. You know, like it's funny, and I tell people this all the time. You and I looked out the same window and saw two totally different things living in that house.
Yep.
You were motivated by our living conditions. It was just a way of life for me. That motivated you to run harder, try harder, do this. I was just like, you were doing, I think what drove you is I'm going to be the one to take care of these living situations and all that. And I'm like, man, he's doing his thing. He's growing. He's becoming his own man. I'm loving it. For me, looking out that window, all I saw is this is what we got. And every now and then I would allow myself to think back and go, are we here if we grew up in Chicago? Are we here are we as close as we are if we grow up in Chicago?
No.
And so I'm like, many times, we don't get what we want. We get what we need. And that 1,000 square foot cinder block house gave us both what we needed to be able to be where we are right now.
You didn't miss taking a shower? You like taking a bath in the tin tub?
When you didn't have, well, it wasn't like, I got to I go to school and I got to take showers and then I come home. It was like a tin tub from caint to caint. So whenever you had to take a shower, it was a tin tub, and that went on. I mean, just imagine, I left and go to college. When I would come home for holidays, guess what? You back in that tin tub.
Yep.
So, but it ain't like I don't know how to do it. I know how to heat the water up and, soak that leg, and I know how to do all that.
Right.
It's just like washing a car. When you take a bath in a tin tub, you wash from the top down,
right.
Just like washing a car. So, never bothered me. Never once bothered me to the point where I felt embarrassed or uncomfortable.
Right.
It was just, I brought my girlfriend there. Never bothered me because I'm like, this is just what we do. This is who we are. This is how we grew up.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that you probably don't understand this. This is just life.
Right. The drinking of the well water. I remember, drinking well water, and then the well went dry. And then we had to go get a barrel. We had to go to Christine, and she would let us
fill up the barrel.
And that was our drinking water. That was our washing water.
Yes.
Because we set the barrel, and those barrels were so, think about 55-gallon drums.
Cast iron.
With water in it.
Yeah.
And so that would have to last us,
for until it ran out and we had to load it back in the truck.
Yes.
And then we were driving a vehicle that might get us there and it might not.
Right.
But you go back to the well. Well, remember what we had to put in the well to kill the bugs?
We put catfish in the
Put a catfish in the bottom of the well to kill the bugs.
to eat the bugs off the top. So
Correct.
now, mind you now,
Yes.
the water that we're drinking, there's a live fish, catfish.
Yes.
Because we didn't want bugs. It didn't dawn on us, well, if the catfish had to go to the bathroom.
He gone.
That didn't dawn on us. It was just the bugs.
We
I
are
already
not
did
robbing Peter to pay Paul. We just robbing Peter.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
all it was. Yes. Yeah. Libby, I ain't got nothing to do with these questions. This your little brother. I don't want to talk about this. This is what you want to talk about.
The meals that we ate, we got chicken once a week. That was on Sunday. I can't remember a time from the time that I was old enough until the time I left.
We ate good on Sundays.
We always had chicken.
Always had, yes.
We always had chicken.
Yes.
And what you didn't eat, you got it on Monday because you got some other
Got some other fried. Yeah, that's right.
But
we ate everything on the pig from the rooter to the tooth.
yeah, everything on the chicken.
Everything on the
Except the first and last part that got on the fin.
That is
the
correct.
beak and the butt.
That is correct. But see, it's funny having this conversation because he's saying things that I never thought of. You know, when we would kill a hog and we had to go over and get, Granny would say, go over and get Mama, her mom, Grandma Lou. Go over and get Grandma Lou because we're going to kill a hog because Grandma Lou was the chitlin expert.
Yes.
But I never, people don't realize that we would go out in the woods and get a tub of turpentine. Mm-hmm. We would boil water, put the turpentine in there and slide the hog in there and turn it around. And most of the hair would just come off.
Right.
But then one of my uncles or our granddaddy would take the straight razor and shave it.
Yep.
And we ate everything on the pig, feet,
snout, pigtails,
we ate it all.
Ears.
Hog head, cheese,
Yep.
we did it all.
Yeah.
But that's just the way of life.
Mm-hmm.
That is not okay, I got to do this now and I'm not going to have to do this again. No, this is just the way of life.
Right.
That's all.
What do you think the craziest thing? Because when I tell people the stuff that we ate, they're like, man, nobody eat that. Man, don't nobody eat no possum. Don't nobody eat
I've
raccoon.
never eaten possum and I've never eaten chitlins. I was like,
Yeah, your boy hates chitlins.
I'm not doing that. That ain't gonna, I'm not doing that. And I don't care what. I'm not eating chitlins. That's not going to happen to me.
He ate, I promise you, Kellogg's, he ate more cornflakes than anybody on the history of the planet.
Because I'm not eating chitlins. That's not going to happen. Well, that's all we got. So if you're going to eat anything, you're going to eat these chitlins. No, sir. I'm going to take this Carnation instant milk. I'm going to mix it with water. Or if it's powdered milk, I'm going to mix it with water. I'm going to eat the Kellogg's Frosted Flakes for as long as humanly possible.
But what about the alligator turtle, the snapping turtle?
Okay, it's gummy. It's gummy, but it wasn't what we ate every day.
Right.
I mean, usually, remember that, we grew up in a time where we would grab a gun, 30-06, shotgun, 22. And, we going hunting and Granny would just be like, be careful, because she was like, well, they know how to handle a gun.
Right.
And
that's something that people
Papa
taught us how to handle a gun. There's not a gun.
Dead is a long time. So you understood what the power of that gun was.
Absolutely.
Even though he couldn't shoot, he taught us how to shoot.
Correct.
And so, usually, ducks, rabbits, raccoons, squirrels. I remember one time when Arnell and Eugene first got their 410s.
Yeah.
Man, we must have killed 400 squirrels. I mean, man, we ate good.
Yeah, we wiped them out.
We wiped out a whole gaggle.
Had the game warden knowing what we did.
Boy, we'd be in jail still right now. We wiped out a whole gaggle of squirrels.
Yeah.
But the thing is even to this day, I wonder if I could skin a raccoon. And I'm like, absolutely. You hang it up,
upside,
and
split it,
just
round
go
the tail,
around, pulling it. I could do that. Because
it's called some people say dressing, we called it casing.
Yes.
You case it out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, but once again, that was just the way of life.
Right. The sleeping arrangement. You slept with Papa. I slept with Granny. When Papa passed, you slept by yourself.
I slept by myself.
But we're in the same room.
In the same room with Granny.
I slept with Granny. Then Papa passed, you slept by yourself. I didn't sleep by myself until I was 15, till you left to go to South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell people, you had it the hardest because my grandfather wasn't a great sleeper. And he would get up in the middle of the night, maybe he'd get up 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, and he would say, come on, Spank It. And he would take you to the truck stop.
No, he wouldn't. He would make me go with him to the truck stop. He wouldn't take me. It wasn't like a package deal. But that ain't the best part. The best part is he would order grits, eggs, bacon, toast, maybe some French toast. And he would tell me, you ain't gonna get to eat this because you're gonna eat cereal in the morning before you go to school. I just had to sit there and watch him eat. But he didn't want to go by himself. Oh, how about this one? We used to wash his car.
Yep.
He would pay us $5 to wash his car and charge us $3 to take us to the store to spend it.
That is absolutely
it's just but it's just a way of life.
Right.
And so, remember what a lot of people don't know, you probably don't know this. When he died, he fell over on the sofa on me. I called Thurman. Mm-hmm. He had a heart attack, fell over on the sofa on me at 13. 13. Mm-hmm. I called Thurman. And Thurman called my Uncle James, and Uncle Thurman came down and got Reuben King to come over and tried to rush him to Dublin, I think it was, the VA hospital in Dublin. And then he died a few days later. So when I hear you talk about Granny and justifiably so, remember, I spent the majority of my being able to move around, work, learning how to drive years with him.
Yep.
And listening to him direct and tell and orchestrate me in a way to where I never looked at our lives as being tragic or bad or sad. Mm-hmm. It was just a way of life. And guess what? Just like Novocaine, just give it time, your lives will get better. It's just gonna take some time.
Right. What's your favorite story with Papa?
I mean, serious or funny? The funniest story is when he had the 30, he made me go get the 30-06 because the fox was like 20 yards away sitting in the road. And he shot 400 times and the fox was looking at him like, well, who are you shooting at? That was the funniest. And he blamed me for the sight being off.
He had a scope on.
And then handed me the 30-06 and 30-30 and in one shot, the fox fell over dead. And he was like, yeah, you done did something to my gun. No, you just can't shoot. I mean, that was probably the funniest one. But the thing is not knowing like really anything about his life, mm-hmm. the fact that he was so well respected by everybody that came in contact with, both white and black.
Yep.
And not knowing why that was, he would teach me with words. You remember, we would be riding, maybe go up to Thurnell's, and we would get to play with Arnell and them, and he and Thurnell, and he just wanted to hang out. And he would see a car on the side of the road with 4, teenage guys. And he would always say, too many drivers and not enough fixers. So he taught in riddles, mm-hmm. so to speak.
Yes. And
so for me, like when he taught me how to drive, he was just like, you done seen me do it, now follow me and don't hit anything. So I'm like, I'm trying to drive and I'm like, and when you watch someone drive, you see the steering wheel constantly move.
Right.
So I'm back there like this, and I'm like, and the truck is going like this, and he pulls over just to curse me out, because he's like, boy, you don't drive like that. How else was I gonna learn how to drive? So, but there was so many things like watching him in church. Mm-hmm. When he went, I'm gonna go by such and such Frazier house because, he need to come to church. And be like, no, I ain't leaving until you get in the truck. Just the fact that he had a powerful voice, he was very well respected, and I never knew or understood why, even to this day, still don't know or understand why, but the fact that he commanded your attention.
Absolutely.
When he spoke, everybody was like this. If you were, the thing is his threats were real. So when we would be in church, and the best place to sleep is in church. Mm-hmm. And I wish
we had been in there for 4 hours.
I wish you would. Now he could nod off, but we couldn't. I mean, those are the things I think in hindsight that I learned, which helped shape and mold my development of trying to be the man better than anyone else, be a man better than anyone else did anything else.
I agree. I think the thing is you had it the hardest because he was very, very hard on you because you were the oldest. And I remember him having...
I was the oldest boy.
But I remember him telling Granny...
the time.
She said, Barney, why you so hard on him? He said, Mary, because that little one is going to learn everything from him.
Yep.
And he has to do it right.
He nicknamed me Spanky because he couldn't say Sterling. So he would always say Spank is always going to be responsible for him. So I don't want that little... If the big one's in jail, the little one's going to be in jail. Mm-hmm. If the big one's on drugs, the little one's going to be on drugs. And I don't want that to happen to either one of them.
Right.
But he never told me that I was responsible for you. No. He never said that. But he always would give me like, I spent more time with him and my Uncle Thurman because my Uncle Thurman, his third oldest son, worked together.
Yeah.
So I spent more time with them and got a chance to watch their interaction. And the thing is he was always in charge. Mm-hmm. Now, you may not like it. You may not appreciate it. But he is always in charge. And I like that. And I equated it to the only way to constantly be in charge is you got to have more information. You got to have more compassion. You got to have more love. You got to have more understanding about the world that you're in and if you want to be in charge all the time.
Right.
And so I always loved the fact that when it came time to voting, 7,000, and I'm going to say this because I grew up in rural South Georgia, 7,000 white people would come by and talk to him about how he was going to vote because how he voted influenced how a lot of the black community out in rural South Georgia voted. So the fact that he commanded a presence like that, the fact that if he had something that taught me, son, if you got something to say it.
Right. There
was a lot of times that I thought I had something to say and I didn't, but I learned over time that I got it. My voice is powerful. Right. My daughter hated my voice growing up. I mean, I think I may have spanked Summer once because my voice was enough.
Right.
And it wasn't, hey, it was just, what are we doing? And that was enough. And so I think a lot of subliminally, I learned a lot of, everybody in the family thinks I'm more like him than he was. Right. I'm more like our grandfather than anybody.
Any of us.
Because I spent the most time with him because of little things.
Yeah.
That, making me get up to go to the truck stop with him so he could eat breakfast because he didn't want to go alone.
Right.
The thing is
we had to string his fishing poles. We had to do his rods and reel.
What about the bait?
We had
the worst, probably the worst beating he ever gave you. And I say this in all we went out and we found a smorgasbord of worms.
No, I found the smorgasbord of worms.
Now let me tell the story my way. We found a smorgasbord of worms and my brother's got this coffee can. It's about like this, and it is glowing with dirt and worms. My grandma she don't have any worms. She
went to work that day.
She says, hey, son, bring me some of them worms. He says, no, these mine, Granny. I want them dug these. I mean, dang. Barney, that boy there won't give me none of his bait. What? We ain't catch a thing that day because all that yelling you were doing was scared off all the fish. He beat the brakes off you, bro. But but he really, after his, I want to say
the first heart attack.
That was the first heart attack. Because the second no. The second heart attack, he was down at the thing.
No, that was the first one. At
because the one he fell over on me was the third.
Yeah, at the house. That was at the house, but Marinelle, the one that found him at the down the road at the shop where we used to go.
Where we skateboard, yes. And so So we had to string, we had to carry. How about getting in the boat with him? I mean, he got in a boat, and you got to be, boat got to be balanced. He got in there like he walking on land, and you were sitting in there because, we all learned how to swim. Throw you in the clay hole, bubbles and whatnot, and I almost drowned because I didn't know how to swim at the state park.
Yeah.
But for being around Papa all the time that I did, I think I learned so much subliminally by watching and seeing the interaction of, his best friend was a guy named Virgil Wiggins.
Yep.
And Virgil Wiggins could do no wrong, and could nobody talk about him but him.
Right.
He was the only one that could say something negative about Virgil Wiggins. He was I'll say we ain't big on going to somebody's house.
Mm-mm.
We ain't big.
Never have, still to this day.
Yeah, never ain't big on going to somebody's house. And I think we got that from him. And the only house he would go to, other than his kids, was Virgil Wiggins.
I think Granny is more don't go to people's house.
well, we definitely got that from them because we ain't all about going over and
Definitely didn't spend the night at no
going over and be like, yeah, I ain't in the neighborhood at your house. If I'm coming to your house, you either owe me money or I'm borrowing something. That's
Right.
about it.
Back then, I can't recall the time, and I told you I can remember Papa died in '77. I was about to turn 9. He died in February, so I was 8 at the time. And everything he's ever said in my presence, I can remember. I don't remember him ever saying that I love you. But the one thing I do know is that he didn't play. All them jokes and that kiki.
Never saw him laugh, really. Never really saw him.
All that kiki and that joke, because I remember, I'm not going to call the guy's name. He made a joke about my grandfather's teeth.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandfather was pulling off. My grandfather he reversed it, put the car in park, and he got out. He said, I don't play. He said, I'm old enough to be your dad. He said, I don't do that joking.
But the times were different too.
Yeah.
I mean,
but men didn't play back then, Spank.
But parents and grandparents weren't your friend.
No.
Aunts and uncles weren't your friend.
Absolutely not.
And I think now because of how the dynamic is, because
some of the ages
are a little, yeah. But the thing is I tell people this all the time when I speak publicly is we were apprentices. We were never going to get the approval until we were doing whatever it was, cutting the grass.
Mm-hmm.
We had to cut it like he cut it. I go left to right. We may want to start down here and just run and go. No, I cut it left to right. So you got to cut it left to right. So I the times and the people were different. Mm-hmm. Growing up in a time where men were men and women were women. And I'm like, that's why I never learned to cook, because you weren't learning in Mary Porter's kitchen. That wasn't going to happen. Because if she found you in the kitchen and she asked you, you weren't going, there was no singing at the table. My Aunt Gladys taught us that. There ain't no singing at the table. It's your thing. Mm-hmm. Remember that? So you can't sing at the table. You ain't talking at the table. And if you in the kitchen, you either walking through it or you eat. And that's just the way it was.
Right. When Papa passed, did you feel like you needed to step up because now you're the dominant male figure that I'm going to see every single day? Did you feel he had prepared you for that role and that was just a natural progression?
When Papa died was the best day of my life. When Granny met us to tell us that he was in the hospital, he died in the hospital.
Yep.
When Granny walked out, we got off the bus and Granny met us. She said, boys, your grandfather is gone. Best day of my life because I was going to get to do what I always wanted to do. I was going to get to play football.
Yep.
I learned this from an older gentleman because he would always ask me about the best, I learned grow up. What's the best day of your life? I go, my grandfather died. Best day of my life. The man who took us in, raised us, formulated who I am. Best day of my life. Well, what's the worst day of your life? Same day. But I've learned in my years that he had probably given me everything that he could give me, and it was okay for him to leave. Because when he died, I got a chance to play football. The very next year, he died in February, the very next year I started playing football. And the rest, of course, is history. And God willing, I find myself in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Barney Porter is definitely one of the men that, and once again, you have to learn to follow before you can lead, that I followed not knowing where I was going. And I never looked at, I know that I wanted to be the best I could be, but that was a great day, man, when Granny told us that Papa had died, because you said something I saw on one of your segments in your podcast, that you wish Papa and Daddy could see what we turned out to be. If Barney Porter doesn't die then, I don't get to play football.
Right.
Because I'm the oldest guy in the house. I'm with him. So I'm still riding a tractor, planting whatever will grow and harvesting that. You as the baby might have.
Right.
But I don't get that opportunity. So selfishly, it worked out great for me. Selfishly. But man, let me tell you, I use the same words, phrases, mannerisms, actions, reactions that I saw in 73, 74, 76 that he used back then.
If you could talk to him today, what would you tell him?
I really wish you would have let me eat a couple of times at the truck stop. Cause boy, I was sitting there salivating going, man, pancakes, but just like you see on TV in a commercial. And I would just sit there, and he had orange juice, he had coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want none of this, cause you're gonna have some cereal when we get back to the house before you go to school. No, I honestly do not know, because there is not much you can say to someone that you're just like. There is not much that you want to say to someone that you're just like.
Because think about it, you started chewing tobacco. You smoked cigars because he chewed tobacco. He smoked cigars. He wore hats. A lot of your mannerisms today
Are him. Yes. And don't lose sight of this. I'm older now than he was when he died.
Yes.
And so, yeah, I inherited a lot of who he was, what he stood for, what he said. Remember, there's a lot of things you might get away with. You weren't going to have Barney Porter late. You want to get on my bad side? Be late.
Where you get that from, George?
Be late. You ain't, let me tell you, we ain't gonna be late. And that, and if I tell you I'm going to, that's happening.
Yeah.
That's as good as gold. You can put it in the bank.
Yeah.
I got that from him.
Yeah.
His word was, as they say nowadays, his word was bond.
Oh, yeah.
If he told you he was gonna do or be, you can count on that.
Mm-hmm. Best believe it.
Yes. And I inherited Harold Green, one of my best friends.
Mm-hmm.
We almost had a falling out because he was late. And he late, we going to play golf and he late. Bro, you can't be late. That is like an absolute no, bro. That you can fry egg on my head if you're gonna be late.
Yeah, I mean, we got it from both.
Yeah, we
Granny that same way.
Not gonna be late, and if you say you're gonna do something, do it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people's word is no good. It's how did Uncle Thurman used to say it? Man, they word like pie crust, easily broken. And so the old school way that we grew up, and I'll say I grew up, man, definitely formulated and impacted my life in a way that allowed me. I never did anything for public consumption. The only competition I ever had in my life was you. Bro, I cut the grass.
Oh, it was a race.
Took me 16 minutes to cut the grass.
It was a race.
Hey, bro, I fed the hogs, the chickens, and Ringo 12 minutes. That's the only competition I ever had. Going out, I remember people going, comparing me to other receivers, and I would just laugh. Because I'm like, y'all don't understand. I'm doing what I want to do. This is my ceiling. I'm playing. not making the Pro Bowl, not being an All-Pro. My ceiling is playing in the NFL. I remember, and I say a lot of the best things that ever happened to me, I was with you. You know, when I signed my scholarship, you in the background, geez. You know, I'm like, I don't know why he's so happy. When I got drafted, when the call came in, which I'm going to tell y'all this, but don't tell him I'm telling you. So when Buddy Geist called me to tell me that the Green Bay Packers were going to take me at number 7, my brother yells out in the background, "Damn! Man, you ain't going to ever be on TV." I was so happy because I went to a place that I could concentrate on playing football. And so to me, I remember two real poignant things in my life. We went to this quote unquote restaurant in Colombia. My brother wanted to try it and it almost killed me. So I ain't been back to that restaurant since. And the first game my brother came to was probably -12.
Minnesota.
In Green Bay.
Yep.
And I thought that almost killed him because he got in bed, and the next time I talked to him we were at the airport. He was like, but man, I just got tremendous memories of what Barney Porter gave us. Gave us life, health, gave us what he had, what he could. More importantly, he gave us wisdom and knowledge that we weren't going to get anywhere else.
Right. I tell the story, everybody knows who you and I are. But the person that had the hardest job was Buck. Because when Buck came, we all came. She's 5 years older than you. She's 8 years older than Libby. 8 years older than I. And when we came in 1970 for good, she never left.
Correct.
And in order for me, and you can speak for you, in order for me to function at the highest rate that I knew I possibly could, I needed to know Granny was going to be okay. And I know Libby being there, Libby could do no wrong in Granny's eyes. How important?
You could do no wrong in Granny's eyes either, but go ahead with your story. But go ahead. I mean, go ahead with your story.
As I got little, then it got to be, well, Libby could do no wrong from the time that I got grown. I left and go to Savannah State, and I come back, and Libby had to replace me. How important was Buck to you?
See, I have never been able to separate the dynamic of Mary and Barney. Mm-hmm. So Mary and Barney are here.
Right.
And then it's all of us.
Right.
So there is no, Shannon being the youngest is least important. Mm-hmm. And Shermadine or Gladys or our Aunt Jane are more important. It was them, and then it was all of us.
Right.
And we were here. And what Libby did was, don't do that. Don't say that. Get it done. When Papa would say, "Hey, somebody need to take out the trash," was our first induction into being a foreman. Okay, you take it out Monday, you take it out Tuesday, you take, so now we delegate.
Right.
Boy, that grass out there is getting kind of long. You cut it on this week.
Saturday.
I'll cut it next week.
Yep.
So I don't look at Libby as an extension of those two.
Right.
I look at Libby as one of us.
Right.
That just happened to be 5 years older than us.
I think that's the difference, because all the things that a mother would do, Libby did. Help me tie my shoe, my report card, help me with my homework.
She didn't do very well on the homework part.
Man, she was a terrible teacher. She had no patience.
He couldn't get in prison with his grades.
Man, Libby was a terrible teacher, man. She didn't have no patience. How you spell this word? No, that is how you spell it.
She didn't have any patience because he was too busy being funny. His entire existence is about a joke. He gonna find the funny part in it, and he gonna exploit that, and he gonna keep it going. He don't care how many people join in on the joke.
Yeah,
He gonna keep
I
it
don't
going.
need that. I don't care.
Yeah, it's gonna be funny.
But you know, the thing was is that, you know, she took a lot of responsibility because she would take us, school clothes shopping. She'd take you to Statesboro, leave me at school until I found out. Y'all made the mistake one time.
You couldn't go with us because, it was the adults, man. Me and Libby we go to Dairy Queen, get the big burger. We were living a dream. We ain't had the responsibility of worried about the dude, because, Granny was more like, okay, y'all go to Statesboro and come right back.
Yeah.
There ain't no detour, getting food and all that. So we could go get the clothes, swing by Dairy Queen, enjoy the best choice burgers and shakes. Because we weren't gonna tell. This dude couldn't hold water. If you did it, oh my God. And he would hold, remember when y'all went to Dairy Queen? You went to Dairy Queen too. Yeah, but Granny told y'all not to go. I was just in the truck.
Yeah, I was a snitch. I blackmail people because I know when people got kicked out of school, I hear my ear to the door to hear my aunts talking. Somebody got suspended.
He was all about the information.
Yeah, you had to pay. You had to pay up. People don't believe this, that you and I have never slept over at someone's home.
No.
And we've never had friends sleep over at ours.
No. Like, I think the first time at my house that someone stayed was you and Harold.
Mm-hmm.
The year y'all came out of the draft and, we all trained together and y'all stayed with me.
Mm-hmm.
But no, and to this day I don't do it. It's just it's comfort for us. I mean, we sleep with fans.
Yes.
All of us, me, you, Libby, we sleep with fans.
Yep.
Susan Summers sleep with fans. I just think it's a comfort thing that this is what I like and what I need. And I don't want to, we are all about in our comfort staying out of your way and what you need.
Right.
That ain't a bad thing. That's just the nature of the beast.
I did become envious because you got the good clothes, man. I had to wear hand-me-downs. I had to wear Libby clothes.
Okay, let's walk this thing back. When Papa died and we started working for the Tatum brothers.
Yep.
And you were making your $6 a day.
Yeah.
So we working.
It started at 5.
Hold on, guys. See, stop. You making your $6 a day, working Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
So 6 times 5 is 30.
Yeah.
Where would the bulk of your money go?
The corner store.
Okay, so sometimes for lunch, we didn't go home and eat lunch. We would just stay in the field, take an hour break. So bring me a Coke and some chips. Coke, some peanuts. Coke, maybe a honey bun. Junior here, give me 2 honey buns, 2 sodas, and so all his money is gone. We working because now I'm playing sports. So in order to have football, basketball, or track shoes, I'm paying.
Yep.
In order for him to have football, basketball, track shoes, I'm paying. So I got to choose my spending carefully. So when my grandma found out he was making $6 a day, she was like, "Oh Lord, y'all paying him too much." No, Granny, he done ate his $30 for the weekend. So he couldn't get the quote unquote, but he always wanted the best of the best, which I loved about him. And it was so, I'm gonna fast forward. When I got money, regardless of what he would have turned out to be, whatever he wanted, if he would have been a trash man, he'd have been a trash man living in a 10,000 square foot house. I would have made sure of that. He'd have been a trash man driving a Mercedes. I would have made sure. He had a Mercedes in college before I had one because he was my little brother. So when he tries to be, I was envious that you had all the, you work like we work. You just ate your
You was making
food.
$16 a day. I was making.
You ate yours and honey buns and soda
And chips.
and we were saving ours because we were living down the line and you were living for the day.
I think the thing is that my grandmother, we were making $5 a day. And my cousin,
You and Lanny.
me and Lanny, he's 2 years older than me. Lanny's 2 years older than me. Spank's 3 years older than me. Eugene's 6 years older than me. Arnell's 7 years older than me. And Libby's 8 years older than me. And so I let Lanny talk me into asking Mr. Joe for a raise. I said, Mr. Joe, man, we be working hard.
This is a good one.
I said, me and Lanny been working hard.
Let me refill my glass.
He called my name, Mr. Joe, they called me Pee Wee.
Yeah, that's right.
Because I was so small.
Pee Wee and Sundown.
They called him Sundown because he's like, man, it's time to knock off, man. The sun's going down.
At 2:30.
So that was his name. So Pee Wee and Sundown. So I let Lanny talk me in and say, man, you need to ask Mr. Joe for a raise, man. So I said, Mr. Joe, man, me and Lanny be working hard, man. We be carrying our own roll. We be walking behind the tobacco picker. I said, man, we need a raise. He said, well, Pee Wee, how much you think y'all? I'm like, I just threw out a number because I knew he was going to say no. I said, man, I think $1. I say, $1. He said, okay, Pee Wee, I'll pay you extra $1 a day. Man, I said, Lanny heard him too. Man, we ain't do nothing the rest of the day.
You ain't do nothing today, but you ain't do nothing before the rest of that day. They were the two laziest individuals to ever work the field.
So Libby come home, blabbermouth, come home, Granny, all them boys do is play in the field. They don't do nothing else but play. And Mr. Joe them gave him a raise. Granny ain't say nothing. So the next morning, Granny don't go to work. She come out there on the porch. Joe, hey, Mary, how you doing? I'm good. She said, Joe, I heard you gave them boys a raise. He said, yeah, Mary, they be working hard. I gave them $1 raise. She said, take it back.
$6 is too
She said, take it back, because Libby told me they don't do nothing but play. And he took it back.
Which y'all did, play. That's all y'all did was play. But, the thing is just like we had to learn, because, you walk behind the picker, then you become a picker. Then you become, working for Mr. Joe, you become a stacker. And then you go from stacking to dry.
You hang.
Or hanging.
Yeah. And then you go from walk behind the picker to pick the tobacco, then you hang. And then if you get to work in the barn.
Well, the thing about hanging for Mr. Joe was, remember, Mr. Orseason used to put the tobacco in the rack. And then spin the table.
Around.
And then I would put the clamp on it and then put it in the trailer by myself.
Yeah.
And so there was an elevation, and y'all was not all about being on the elevation part.
Man, I got tired of walking, man. Sometimes, they be coming back. Me and Lanny be sitting down there throwing rocks, and they coming back the other way. We ain't following.
But you bring up something about working in the field, though, which people won't understand. And I mean, since we talking about it, let's talk about it all. Imagine sitting in a seat on the ground. The tractor's pulling this picker, and you're trying to get the 3-4 leaves on the bottom. And you put them on the belt, and the belt rolls them over. Well, how many times were there rattlesnakes wrapped around them stalks? It's only by the grace of God that and I'm going to say we are here right now. Because how many times that we, and all of a sudden you, snake, and everybody would dive off. But let me tell you, it never ended well for the snake.
Nah, you would go in
And
there.
how many times did we catch rabbits with our bare hands?
Oh, that was the thing.
I'm like, quickness, we had that from 21 Jump Street. Yeah. We would catch rabbits with our hands.
I would just pray and Lord, please let there be a skunk tomorrow so he can stake up the field and we can knock off early.
Yeah. Or have a hurricane or a tornado come through, knock all the leaves off, and you have to work on Sunday. And the thing is it's got to be done. It's going to be done. Sure. So, I learned to not complain about those things. But yeah, man, you and Lanny, the way we grew up though, man, but we were just so thankful that we were working for someone, because all the years we worked for Papa, we never got paid, because he was like, I'm feeding you and I got a roof over your head and I'm clothing you. So it don't make sense for me to pay you. His logic, not ours.
Right.
But that's what we did.
Yeah. That's what we did. You work. I mean, he was paying me. I couldn't do it. He's like, I'm gonna give you $1 to stay out the way. I couldn't do it.
I couldn't do it.
I couldn't Dude, I wanted to do something. Like I said, I was the youngest by 3 years. I mean, Lanny, and I was like, man, I could do something. And I never forget that day that Mr. Joe came by and said, Barney, what about such and such? And then because Papa had already told us that Joe Tatum come by tomorrow, and he said, I want everything big enough to stop syrup to hit that truck. So I remember everybody had got up and got on the back of the truck, and I was sitting there next to Papa, and Mr. Joe said, well, Barney, what about that little one? I couldn't have been no more than 5 or 6 tops.
Yep.
He say, Barney, what about that little one? He say, I don't know, Joe, he too small. He said, Barney, I'll find something for him to do. Off the porch I went.
There you go. Yeah.
Off the porch I went.
Hey, man. The good old days. Speaking of work, though, but I tell people all the time, because they like to equate playing football with work. And I said, no, work ain't work. That work, playing football, lifting, running in the summer, that ain't work. Work is when you got your shirt off and you look, and as far as you can see, you see tobacco plants, and you got a handful of arsenic and sand because you walking, dropping budworm poison.
Yep.
Work is when when Mr. Ale Mincy comes by and gets you, and you got your shirt off, and all you see is 720 bales of hay, and it's 16,000 degrees out, and you got to throw the hay on the truck, because once you load the truck, you got to unload the truck. That's work.
Yeah.
Work is when you are in a tobacco field and blue jeans and a long sleeve shirt with an undershirt, and it's 17,000 degrees, and you in that field.
You see that heat?
You see the waves of the heat. You in the field from 7 until that barn is full. That's work. Playing football ain't work.
No.
That lifting weights ain't work. Running that ain't work.
Do you remember Chicago?
No.
Because
what I remember about Chicago is 2 friends I had in the neighborhood, next door neighbors, were Troy and Dee Dee. Mm-hmm. I remember their names. I can't pick out their faces.
Right.
I remember flipping you over in the stroller and getting the brakes beat off me one time. That's kind of the only memory I have of Chicago.
Yeah, because when
I don't remember being there. You know, I don't remember.
Because you were small.
I don't remember the house. I don't remember,
Yeah.
whether we had steps, or I don't remember any of it. No.
Because when Granny came and got me, she said, Barney, I'm going to get that boy. And he said, bring Spanky back. So I was 3 months when they came and got me.
I would have been 3.
Yes. And when Daddy came and got me back, I was 7 months.
Yeah.
We went back. And then I came back. We were 2. You were 5.
I was 5.
Libby was 10.
Don't remember. No.
I don't remember a whole lot.
No. Mm.
I already know the answer to this for my part. If we grew up in Chicago, are we here?
No. And I'm going to say no because of all we got in Georgia.
Yes.
All we got from Mary and Barney.
Yes.
All we got from Arnell, Eugene, Lanny, Robbie, Bernard, Chris, our cousins. All we got from Thurnell, our uncle, Thurman, James. All we got from Marynell, Gladys, Shermadine, Jane. Nah, we ain't here. And the reason why we're not here, and I tell people this why I still stay in the South, I like knowing. I knew when people didn't like you or me because of the color of my skin. I knew when people would say, I don't care what you do, you're never going to be successful in college. You're not going to make it. I like knowing that. That's not motivation. I just like knowing. I like knowing that I got to do this for me, because there is no way I can do this for you because you don't want me to do it and you don't believe that I can do it.
Right.
So the thing that I got from Glenville was I got love, I got friendship, Calvin, Lamont, Jesse, Reggie King. I got William Hall as a coach. I got Buddy McCall as a coach. I got Earl Rogers as a coach. Man, I got to be able to play sports and not be dominant, but learn how to dominate. I got to play sports and I got to learn how to be okay with being the best player on the team and still being here. I got to learn to be in athletics and to operate in a way that while I would love to score 30 or while I would love to run for 150, man, if I could hit Pat on this slant, or if I can get Devin Durnt's, downhill on this lead, or if I can get the pitch out fast enough to Gary Levant, gonna be all right.
Right.
We got a chance. So I got to learn and develop how to be a player in Glenville.
What was it about Glenville? Because as we talked about earlier, we're the first two brothers in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And when you and I were growing up, it's two stoplights. It's still two stoplights to this day.
No, wait. There's one in Midtown.
There three now?
There's a caution light.
Yeah.
It ain't a stoplight. It's
Right.
the one coming in, how we were coming to Glenville from Reedsville. From Reedsville is a caution light.
Yeah.
It's not a stoplight.
Yeah.
It's
That's
caution
the one
light.
when we made that left in the top you just got here.
That's right.
Okay.
So that's a caution light.
Yeah.
And then the one in the center of the town is a stoplight.
And then the one right down used to be right there behind Lipsy.
There's another, that's right, down by the pharmacy.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you're right. Go ahead. That's
30
way too many stoplights, by the way.
35, I mean, there's probably more people there now, but when you and I were there, it was like 3,500. Mm-hmm. What is it about Glenville that allowed us to prosper, to flourish, and less?
It's the act of shooting. You aim small, you miss small. For us, I'm not going to talk for you. For me, all I wanted to do was play football. I remember, you know who taught me how to put the pads? Because remember, in your football pants, you had the thing where you slide your pads in.
Pockets.
You know who taught me? Hank. Hank taught me how to put my, Lawrence Hankerson taught me how to put the pads in my pants. Mm-hmm. The first time I ever touched the football, organized football, remember what it was? Mm-hmm. Kickoff?
Yep.
I ran it back for a touchdown.
But you picked the ball up before you got into the end zone.
15-yard penalty, re-kick.
Coach all say all y'all gonna do is make him run it back further.
Ran it back again for a touchdown. So what Glenville provided for me was an opportunity to have no clue what I was doing, but to do that very well.
Right.
So I had no clue what being a star or a great player, but you know what? Great game. Nice play. So I got a chance to learn and grow. Remember how I got to be quarterback? Mm-hmm. I wasn't a quarterback.
Right.
I'm a running back, I'm a corner, I'm a running back. That's where I want to be. Remember how I got to be quarterback? Jess caught mono. Mm-hmm. And Coach McCall was like, hey, in spring, want you to go with the quarterback. Like, wait, what? That's how I got to be a quarterback. Mm-hmm. If I'm not mistaken, was I the first quarterback in Glenville High School? Or was it Petey?
Probably.
Ken Taylor. So you looking at a growth and development that's organic, that can't nobody tell you how to do it. You learn. And I think Glenville gave me the opportunity to learn and grow at a pace that was comfortable for me.
Right.
So I wasn't in a hurry and I wasn't behind. So what I got in Glenville served me very well going to the University of South Carolina.
Right. We work for the Portier, and people find this so hard to believe, and I don't know why.
Because you don't see it. You've never done it. Go ahead. I know where you're going, but go ahead.
When I tell people we caught 1,000 chickens.
No.
No, it was $1,000 a thousand. It was
it was $1 a thousand.
But we caught, the most we ever caught was 16,000. That was the most chickens we ever caught. But we normally did 12.
12 was pretty, 12. Every now and then we get that 16.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
And we were what they called a C crew. We were small. I mean, all of us was
We're all cousins.
Yeah.
We're all kin.
Yeah, and most of us was in school.
Arnell, Eugene, Lanny, me and you.
Yeah.
Sometimes Robbie and Bernard.
But they had the big crew that would catch 30, 40,000. And you worked from Sunday to Thursday because nobody worked on Friday, nobody worked on Saturday because the Portier was closed on Saturday and Sunday. And we would pick tobacco.
Working for the Tatum brothers.
Working for the Tatums.
Yep.
That was $5 to $6. $5 for me.
It was 16 for me, but go ahead.
And then we would go catch chicken anywhere between $8 to $12.
But now you can't catch chickens during the day.
You got to catch them at night.
You got to catch them at night. So we getting picked up at 10:30, 11 o'clock. And, usually the farthest we went was an hour ride.
Right.
We'd go over to Blackshear.
Blackshear.
Yeah. So hour ride. And then when you catch chickens, you had a catcher.
Mm-hmm.
We were carriers. So we were praying that it was 6. So you carrying 3 and 3. Because when you got that 4 and 3, oh Lord. But it was $1 a thousand. So if it was 16,000, we made $16. If it was 13,000, we made 13,000.
Correct.
And there ain't no time limit. You leave when the last chicken is gone. And so we don't work from 7 until about 5. We eat, and now we're waiting for it to get dark for James or Earl to pick us up. Mm-hmm. We go and catch chickens. We do that for at least 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
We get back, let's say you get back at midnight, 1 o'clock,
mm-hmm.
just so you could, because remember now, you've been in the chicken house.
Yeah.
Dust, you got to get that off you. So that's another
chicken
hour.
Poop.
Yeah, got to get that off you. That's another hour and a half. So you can get in bed just to get up and get on the truck with Mr. Joe in the morning again at 7.
And people don't realize this, that we did this while we go into school also.
Go to school, playing football, go to practice.
Yep.
Come home at 5:36, eat.
Do homework.
I did homework. I did. I don't speak for, I don't like to talk about other people. I did homework. Do homework, wait till it get dark, get on the chicken truck, drive 35, 45 hour, catch chickens, come back home just to get up the next morning to do it again. Because if we wanted a pair, 2 pair of running shoes and track, we had to pay for it.
Yep.
Granny was like, hey, son, how much money you got saved? Wasn't no bank for us.
Yeah.
It's under the mattress.
Yep.
How much money you got saved? Granny, I got, $140. Let me borrow, not give me, let me borrow 20 so I can, keep the lights on. Or let me get 40 from you so we can pay for gas, for heat. So,
because back then it was propane tanks.
It was propane, yeah.
Big tank settle.
And if I had spent whatever on basketball shoes, then we moved the heater over, and we got to use the fireplace for heat. Sometimes heat and light. So yeah, it was just the way we grew up.
I don't do it so much now, but I used to tell kids, and when I do, I still do when I go speaking appearances. And I tell people, I say, kids, make sure your kids have a lot of jobs while they're kids, because it'll let them know what they don't want to do.
I'll agree with you to this point, because my daughter's had one job, and she's been on this job for about 8 years, 9 years. But my daughter's like me. You don't have to tell her, because she's a lot like you. She's always watching. And she's processing. And so I learned that how we grew up and what was done to and for us is different.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
For her. Mm-hmm. Only because when she's a girl, she's smart as hell. She's 6 feet tall. She's extremely athletic, but she's a girl, so sports are out of the question because, you can't be sweating with the hair if you're a girl, so that's out of the question. But I learned that, you know what? And I learned this through all our years, when we were coming up in the church, the thing is we weren't just coming up in the church, we were participants, and I learned biblically that in our spirit, if you just shut up and pay attention, it'll guide you and put you in places that you never thought you'd be. Mm-hmm. And it has a way of putting you exactly where you're supposed to be the moment you're supposed to be there. And so I learned that the way I grew up, I could not raise my kid that way.
Yeah.
I learned that. And I'm glad I learned that. And I tell people all the time, hey, look, it's your kid. You graze them anyway. But I also tell them, this is my life. So just because you think I'm an asshole because I won't give you an autograph or a picture, understand this. I tell my kid no. How hard do you think it is to tell your kid no?
Right.
I look forward to telling your kid no. It's easy. So, I try not to contrast and compare, only because this is my life. There are many like it, but this one is mine.
Right.
You're going to get what you need from it based on how you are around me. And if you're not going to get anything from me, there's a good chance you're not going to be around me. Or you're not going to be around me enough to get something.
I think all the things that we did growing up, it definitely, the work ethic, but I knew I didn't want to clip onions for the rest of my life. I knew I didn't want to bale hay. I didn't want to load watermelons. I don't want to do tomatoes. I don't want to pick up pecans. I don't want to crop tobacco. I don't want to catch chicken. I don't want to pour concrete. I don't want to lay asphalt. I don't want to work on...
I'm looking at your face, man. You saying that, and I'm looking at this thing right here. I'm like, this dude is angry and was like, I'm determined not to do that.
Bro.
And that's good. But that served you
well.
Man.
Bro, I remember... You were in college. Now, I'm working in Savannah for Richard and for Maurice Bland. Now, we gotta be on the job at like 6. Savannah's an hour away.
That's right. Yeah.
I gotta get up, wash my face, get down there, and we're not getting off the job until like 5:30. I'm like, man, I don't want to do this. So right then we ain't have no riding lumber. We pushing, we cutting 2 acre lawns and 3 acre lawn. We're pushing more. We building burns. We laying asphalt for parking lots and putting down cross ties. I said, nah, man, this ain't for me. Ain't for me.
I mean, look at this. But the thing was, I did that too. I left college during the summer for the 2 months, month and a half that I had off. And I'm back in the field with Mr. Joe, or I'm back in Savannah laying side landscaping with Richard Golden. I'm doing all that too because in college, I don't need a lot of money, but I need some.
Right.
But it's just means to an end. This dude is like, he's like, man, I don't want to lay railroad ties or clip onions. I'm like,
no, I know I didn't want to do that.
We looked out of the same window and saw 2 totally different things. And yet, and still, at 60 and at 57, we end up in the exact same place. I'm like, look, I can't make this story up. I ain't never look at this I can't make this up. But for us to end up where we are, seeing 2 totally different things, obviously that's your life. There are many like it. That one is yours. And you used what you saw and what you wanted and didn't want to your advantage. I commend you for that.
People ask, man, how do you develop your work ethic? You ain't got no choice.
Wait, hold on. See, the thing is their work ethic is, do I want to do it?
Right.
When you got no choice, you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
And you are going to do it better than anyone else does anything else.
Right.
And so it ain't like, you know what, I'm going to half-ass this job because I don't, no. Because see, you ain't doing this for him or him because everything you do goes home. This represents Mary Porter right now.
Yep.
Mary Porter is at the house. And I don't want Joe Tatum or Miss Joanne Tatum or Tiny Tatum going back and telling Mary, he worked, but he don't do it very good.
Right.
No. Everything you do goes home. And I've had this conversation about the Hall of Fame. I'm like, the Hall of Fame ain't for me. Oh, that's for Mary Alice and Libby. And if Mary Porter was here and for Shannon and for William Hall and for Buddy McCall, that's for them. Because see, everything I did is a reflection of everything they gave me. And people don't understand that because they live in the here and now. So I'm working for you. And I don't want to work for you because I really want to do real estate. So I'm working to get my real estate license so I can get away from you.
Right.
Instead of understanding that, guess what? I'm working for you. Because what I'm doing is a reflection of who I am. And so they get caught up in the wrong thing because everybody is, and I'm not saying it's right, wrong, or indifferent.
Right.
I'm just saying that there's a better way to do it.
Yeah, obviously. You learned to, Papa let you learn how to drive. He let you say, okay, just follow me. I learned how to drive at the tobacco field. I was 5 or 6 years old, and none of the big kids wanted to go get the car.
All the way down there, which was like, and we're talking about like 60 yards.
Yeah.
We ain't talking about a mile. So the truck is 60 yards, and they'd be like, hey, who want to go get the truck? Gone.
I'm 5 or 6 years old. Hey, all right, just be careful, Pee Wee. So Lanny pressing the gas because I can't see over the steering wheel. So
he working the steering wheel.
I'm working the steering
And he working the steering wheel like there's no tomorrow. So he like this. So the truck is going like this. And it's like, so imagine what that looked like coming down a row about this wide. Oh, it's hilarious. But that's how we learned how to do things.
You mentioned that sports was like, you didn't get an opportunity to play until like
would not have gotten a chance to play if Barney Porter doesn't, if Papa doesn't die. And I'm not going to say die in 77 or 79 or 81. If he doesn't die, I never play football. To America, who's going to see this, greatest day of my entire life, because all I ever wanted to do was play football.
Because everybody will say, man, your brother's so fast, he could play football. But because of what transpired with my uncles, because our high school coach coached my uncles.
Yes.
He also coached my mom. My mom graduated in 60, so that lets you know just how long he's been a coach. And Papa let my uncles and them play. He said, but...
Wait, who broke their leg?
James broke his leg. Thurman broke his collarbone.
Broke his collarbone.
And he said, now, if anything happens, who gonna help me in these fields?
Who gonna told Coach Follow? Who gonna pick mine?
Well, he told Coach Hall that. Coach Hall didn't tell Coach Follow that Papa had told him that.
Yeah.
So he let Coach Follow take the boys home.
And then they're like, who gonna pick my tobacco? Coach Follow was like, well, it ain't gonna be me.
He said, did Hall didn't tell you?
And that's it. So it wasn't gonna be no more football. So, and I know how it sounds. I know how it sounds, but I want you to understand. An older gentleman told me one time, he said, you know what a dream is? And I said, no, sir. He said, a dream is a gift you give to yourself. It's the only dream I ever had. It's the only gift I've ever given myself, was to play football. That's why nothing ever bothered me. That's why being redshirted my second year, which was at the time the greatest year the University of South Carolina ever had, never bothered me. That's why leaving the NFL, where people would say, dog, you are not in your prime, you are coming into your prime. Bro, my last year catching 90-something passes for 1,000 yards and 18 touchdowns and never play again, never bothered me, because I had accomplished my dream. I had given myself that gift that I could give to myself. Man, I was, and a lot of people don't understand that. But let me tell you, coming from where we come from,
right?
How we came, I got no problems and got no complaints.
Yeah, I want to know why you cut me with that knife, man.
Okay, hold on. Where'd I cut you?
On the thigh. Right.
Where'd you cut me? It's still there. It's right there.
Well, this one.
Wait, hold on. I wanted to see how sharp the knife was. Cut through his jeans, cut his leg.
2 pair of jeans and a short.
Hold on. He threatens me. So I got to let him cut me. If you notice where my cut is, and you probably can't see my cut, it's right here. 2 centimeters to the left, I ain't here. I bleed out.
Look, it cost him a cut back and a couple of silver dollars.
Couple of silver dollars.
I got to tell Papa. I don't want to tell, but I would have to.
I got to tell if you don't let me get you back.
Got to.
Got to tell.
And then you wouldn't have been here.
And then I still wouldn't have been here. So I'm definitely where I'm supposed to be. There ain't no doubt about that.
Who do you think we got the athleticism from, mom or dad?
I honestly don't know. And the reason I say that is I don't know. I know my mom did something, and I know my dad did something. but I don't know. I mean, the thing is, I'm going to step outside the box and talk about athleticism because I think a lot of people think, oh, because of LeBron, Bronny, and all these other kids are going, no. What is your determination? I don't think you got to where you got to because, oh, you got your athleticism from your mom and you got your smarts from your dad, or vice versa. No. I think because of your circumstance and what you saw in that 1,000-block cinder block house made you develop speed, strength, skill, stamina, and more importantly, determination that I have to make this work because I don't want that woman, Mary Porter, living like that anymore.
Right.
And I don't think athleticism is inherited or passed down. I don't believe that. I don't. Because I don't think you need athleticism to be successful in sports. I think you need timing, luck, grace of God to put you in a position. Let me tell you, if I go to New York, if I go to Texas, if I go to California, we are not sitting here having this conversation.
Right.
If you go to class and you're a straight A student, we are not sitting here having this conversation. If I don't have to come home and tell you, bro, you going to Savannah State. We ain't going to Army. You going to Savannah State. We ain't having this conversation. Because of the circumstance and the way things fall, it gives you an opportunity to grow that which you need to do that which you need to do. That's all. That's what I believe.
What do you think your best sport was in high school?
Track. 100, 200, 4x1, 4x4, long jump. I think track was my best sport. Football was the easiest because, as Buddy McCall used to say, the reason why you run the triple option so easy is you don't care about your stats. The triple option is trust. The triple option is I'm riding the fullback and I'm reading the tackle. And then after I read the tackle, at some point my eyes have to go to the end. Mm-hmm. So I approach the end and I have to approach his inside shoulder. And I have to determine if I can get there or if I need to pitch it. I never cared about keeping it. I never cared about numbers. Like I can't tell you, the one game I can tell you in football was the one game I didn't play against Montgomery County my senior year. The only game I've ever missed because I got cut and it got infected right here. And I was in the hospital all week. I got out Thursday. I didn't play Friday. That's the only thing I can tell you about. When I look at track and field, I had battles, man. LaDon, Greg Stafford, Herschel Walker, going 23-8 in the long jump at the Georgia Relays, winning that, against people in schools that I'd never heard of or didn't know. Track was probably my best sport because 100, 200, 4x1 relay, 4x4, and long jump. Yeah, I was in the top 2 in the state in those for a long time.
Do you wish you had focused more on what?
No, football was what I wanted to do. I wanted to play football. I was going to be a football player come hell or high water. I was going to be a football player if I had to murder 2 people. I was going to be a football player.
Right.
Now, if I got in the NFL and got cut, I'm fine with that because I got there.
Right.
I got my chance, got my opportunity. That's all I wanted. So no, football was what I wanted. That's where I wanted to be. That's where my growth and development was from.
You get a scholarship and you go to the University of South Carolina, but that's not where you really wanted to go. You wanted to go to Clemson.
I did until
they told you.
No. I went to South Carolina because I knew everyone.
Right.
Dominique Blasingame and Quentin Lewis from Bradwell Institute, which was in Hinesville. I had, run track against Thad Johnson.
Right.
Johnson County. I knew most of the guys that were at Emory Baker, my cousin was at South Carolina.
Yep.
So I knew let's say there was 100 guys on the team. I had either played football, basketball, or ran track against 80 of them. So that's why I felt comfortable going to South Carolina.
Right. If you mentioned that you got,
But the only reason I wanted to go to Clemson was because of Homer Jordan.
you would. You was number 3. He was number 3.
He was number 3, but you know,
They wanted you to play DB.
they wanted me to play DB, and I was like Georgia, and I was like, ooh, I need to have the ball in my hands. So, but you know, my favorite player was Condrich Holloway at Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Homer Jordan wore number 3, so of course I gravitated to him. But Condrich Holloway,
Yeah.
man, look.
What do you remember most about your playing days at the University of South Carolina? What made that so special? Because
I can't get to the NFL without it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't get there without South Carolina. But just growing, man, just being there and figuring it out. I almost flunked out of South Carolina. I was a knock on my door, and our academic advisor going, Sterling, you know, hey, I don't want to bother you, but, you know, next semester, if you don't have a 4.0 or 3.6, you're going to flunk out. You got to go back to Georgia, man, ride a tractor. Oh, we ain't doing that.
I ain't never had that problem at Savannah State. You know me, I understand. I got my work. Got my work.
Bro, we'll come back to that. But South Carolina gave me an opportunity to grow, develop, and more importantly, take what I had gotten from Glenville and administer and empower that in Columbia.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it did.
But at the university, you played a lot of, you didn't play quarterback.
They wouldn't let me, but go ahead.
Wide receiver, running back.
Yep.
I think one year they tried to put you at DB.
Yep. They were, but in today's situation, kids will transfer.
Yeah.
In my situation, I just want to play. So if you want me to play defensive tackle at 212 pounds, let's go. You want me to play defensive end at 212? Let's do it.
Right.
You know, because I just wanted to play. And I think a lot of young people get sidetracked. And I'm going to say young people. A lot of people get sidetracked. And what I want and where I am is the same thing. What I wanted to do was play. Where I was, you know, being at all these different positions wasn't the same thing, because eventually it was going to work its way out. And now I'm going to play. So whatever that was, you know, if it was DB, fine. If it was quarterback, fine. If it was running back, fine. And it just turned out to be receiver, and that's fine too. But I never got sidetracked or caught up in someone else controlling my destiny.
Right. They retired your number at the University of South Carolina
While I was still
while
playing.
you're still playing. And there have been a lot of guys come and ask you, man, can we wear that number 2? Why won't you let anybody wear that
The
number?
only guy that I considered was Deuce Staley. Kid's named Deuce. The reason why I won't is once you unretire it, now everybody can wear it.
Yeah.
And the university thought so much of me that they were like, not only are we're gonna let you wear it, but we don't want anybody else to wear it. And I thought, you know what? I'm doing this more so for them, a little bit for me, but more so for the University of South Carolina, because they thought enough of what I did and how I did it that they were like, we don't want anybody else to wear this number.
Wow. Why'd you pick the number 2? Because you had 85. You had
I
26.
wanted number 3. But Skip Minton, we didn't know if he flunked out, was going to transfer, or if he was coming back.
Right.
I wanted 3 because I wore 3 in high school. So
Right.
I wanted 3. So I went in and talked to Coach Morrison. I said, Coach, I want to get number 3. And he goes, well, I don't know what Skip's going to do. So he blows me off this way. Oh, hell, why don't you just take number 2? And the rest is history.
You was like, okay.
It was a single-digit number.
Right.
And the rest is history.
Right.
That's how it worked. I have been blessed to be led by a spirit that if I just get out of my way, it usually works out.
Mm-hmm.
I end up in Green Bay. When I took my photo being their first round draft pick, I was holding up the number 37 Not number one, not, oh, we're going to put you in number 84 or 82, number 37. When I got there, they gave me 84. Fast forward to email addresses. You got to come up with an email address. My email address is coming out, and I'm like, I can't make this up.
Right.
So if I just stay out of my own way, usually it works out.
You get to go to the East West Shrine game, which I followed you in that one, and you go to the Senior Bowl. When you came out, what was your expectations in you playing those two bowl games, and now you go to the Combine? The Combine was vastly different then than when it was when I come out and what we see today.
East West Shrine game, I got a chance to meet guys from the West Coast that I know. Eric Allen, who's going into the Hall of Fame this year, he and I met and became really good friends at the East West All-Star game.
Right.
We would talk about, he was a defensive back, I'm a receiver. We talk about technique. One, he had never seen a receiver as big as me.
Right.
Two, I didn't know they played football past the Mason-Dixon line. So we got a chance to learn some about each other. The Senior Bowl was work. And I say work. Jim Mora was our head coach, Jim Mora. And he was
head coach
Saints head coach at the time. And Jim Mora was all about banging and physical. Two things that never bothered me. Hitting and being physical never bothered me. The Combine, I did nothing. Got height, weight, wingspan, and I went home. Because it was like, hey, you're going to be a first-round pick. There were 6 of us in the first round. Tim went 6, I went 7, Mike went 11, Anthony Miller, Aaron Cox, and I want to say Ernie Jones. And I could be wrong, but I think 6 of us went in the first round.
Right.
So I just went and did that, came back, ran, did the lifting in my pro day, and the rest is history.
When you got the call, did you know Green Bay, you wanted to go to Tampa?
I thought I was going to Tampa only because they had drafted Vinny the year before.
Right.
And Ray Perkins, the Tampa Bay head coach at the time, was like, you, Vinny, we got that combination set for the next 10 years.
Right.
I could either have gone 1 to Atlanta, 4 to Tampa, 7 to Green Bay, 11 to Dallas.
Right.
Green Bay wanted Michael Irvin. If Green Bay takes Michael Irvin, there's a chance I slide. The only place I knew I wasn't going was Oakland because Tim Brown had won the Heisman and Al was going to take the speed. We ain't going there.
Okay.
So I didn't have much of, I wasn't going to be around long if I didn't go to Green Bay at 7.
Right. Get the signing bonus. You get that big old check. Like,
what does my brother want? I'm like, my sister goes, I want your car. I'm driving a Nissan Maxima 2-tone, brown and gold on the bottom. That's yours. I'm driving around in a 300ZX.
yeah.
Bruh's like, yeah, I can roll with that. I take that. Bruh gets that. I get to Green Bay. I get an endorsement deal with a car company. I'm driving a Jeep. The next year, 1989, my brother is like, oh, dog, you seen them new
300E?
300E Mercedes?
Yeah. Cause you know, Cool Mo D said he driving a Benz 190. I was driving a Benz 300.
I'm like, no, I ain't see that. Yeah, man, I like that. So I'm like, well, bro, want to see? He's still at Savannah State.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, so we get the 300E, but now he done seen somewhere in some magazine that you can put skirts on it.
Yeah, that thing, I had the kid
18-inch 5-star wheels.
You know, put a tail on it, put a wing on the back.
Got a wing on the back.
Yeah.
He rolling in a Mercedes 300E in college.
Yeah. Oh, I like
I'm
that.
driving a BMW M3 that's about the size of this glass. But that's just the way it was. Whatever he wanted, he was going to get. I was going to make sure of that.
You were basically paying all my bills until summer.
Until Summer was born, yes.
Yeah.
And when Summer was born, I was like, bro, I got to let you go because now my focus is this right here.
Yep.
You know, her well-being, and of course, taken care of, but college and all that other stuff. I'm like, bro, you on your own. I mean, I remember you calling me going, man, I can't get a place without a cosigner. Bro, you're in the NFL. Yeah, but I ain't got no credit. Your first credit card. The gold American Express.
I had a Texas, man, the college what got me though. And you know, I passed them on the buck. I got to put you out there. But you know, all the belt, the JC Penney credit card, the gas card, Texaco, she ran them up and then cut them up and then tell me she ain't pay them up.
You know, I really should have murdered my family a long time ago, but I didn't. But no, it was that the thing is, man, you were it for me. You know, everything I did athletically, I did for you. Okay. You know, I never did anything for public consumption. I did everything for you. I wanted to make sure, or I tried my best that if you said that you wanted a role model, you didn't have to look past our table to find that. That was.
Man, you remember I called you from Daytona?
When you junkyard my SL,
yeah.
I had the first one in the state of South Carolina.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you yeah, man. I junkyard your shit, man. Wait, what? Wait, what? I'm sorry? Yeah. So he and Emmett.
Yeah.
Were riding and he
I had your white when Emmett had a burgundy one at the time. Burgundy gold with the gold emblem.
And wasn't paying attention and ran into the trailer hitch of a car.
Yeah.
And yanked the Mercedes emblem out. And bent up the front. Yeah, I remember that.
Those are the days, man. Your rookie year, what is it about your rookie year that you remember most? Because a lot of people
how hard it was.
It was hard?
The verbiage. Rip Liz 80 slide. I'm Rip Lizzing 80 slide. I'm running the bubble. I go in motion, come back, I'm running the bubble. 28 lead. I'm always going right unless I'm told to go left. Harold's in the backfield, 28 lead. When I got to Green Bay, they were like 2 flip wide, short 90, Y option X smash. I was like, wait, what? I'm sorry? Could you repeat that?
Yeah.
Okay, 2 flip wide, so that tells you to go in the slot. Short 90, that's the protection for the offensive line. Y option, if you're outside an option, because remember, we're in flip, right. Slot, wide tells the back to get outside the tight end. You outside the Y option, you run a hinge at 13 yards. X is outside of me running a smash, so you come off the ball real slow. Inside a smash, you run a corner. Oh, hold on. Most of the defenses were 3-4. Mm-hmm. So the blitz read was 1 defensive back plus the outside linebacker. I'm thinking, the verbiage.
Yeah.
I could not, the first 6 weeks of the year, I was just like, you know what, man? I should have been a plumber. 2 outside, short 90, X turnsy, choose. Oh, it is a 4-3 defense. So instead of 1 plus the OLB and a 3-4, it just takes 1. Oh, when we play New York, the OLB is Lawrence Taylor. But we don't want our back blocking Lawrence Taylor. So we're going to make him down. Wait, what? So he's coming 90% of the time.
Right.
We don't side adjust off him.
So now it takes 2.
Well, hold on. This dude's standing right here getting ready to strangle me. And I'm thinking he ain't thinking. That was the hardest part. By far was the verbiage and understanding blitz, side adjust and blitz reads.
And then you got a situation with the media. They came down pretty hard on you.
No, they didn't. They were unfair to me. Only because they didn't ask me. They came to me and they were like, hey, Lindy said this. Lindy was my head coach.
Mm-hmm. Lindy and Fonte.
What am I supposed to do? Say Lindy's crazy? Mm-hmm. Lindy don't know what he's doing? He don't know what he's talking about?
Right.
Lindy. So they always led me into a headache. And so it was kind of twofold. Because remember, you and I worked out in 89, mm-hmm. getting ready for the 89 season. And I'm like, first of all, now I got it down. They're going to want to talk to me, and I'm not going to say anything.
Right.
I never told them no. I would always say, not right now. And so because they never asked me about me, what are my struggles?
Right.
What am I going through? everything was leading. Well, Coach Guy said this. Buddy, Lindy and Fonnie, Coach and Fonnie said this. So it was never just, what do you think? What are you going through? What are you dealing with?
Right.
And so it was kind of that, and I was like, they're going to want to talk to me.
Right.
And I ain't going to have anything to say. And I ended up leading the NFL in catches.
The next year.
In 1989,
Right.
yeah.
Report, did you come in, so what was your weight from the time that you left the University of South Carolina and then your rookie year at Green Bay?
I was 206 when I was between 205 and 212 my junior and senior year in college.
Okay.
Because remember, you and I, we were all about weights, dog. Mm-hmm. We were all about throwing that iron. Mm-hmm. We were all about benching, squatting, and power cleaning. Yeah. We were throwing weight. Well, all our lives, what we wanted to be was the 4-6 club.
Yep.
Bench 400, squat 600.
Yep.
That's all we did. So I was a solid, but you also got to remember when I came in the league, corners didn't go to the huddle because they were standing at the line of scrimmage because they were like, I got you.
Yep.
I don't care what the defense is, I got you. So Green Bay said I was too big. Granted, they drafted me at 212. So I went from 212 to 190. I couldn't walk from here to the door without cramping. So that was a problem. Trying to deal with, okay, I don't have any body fat or salt or anything to be able to. So whenever the temperature got up, bro, I cramped. Like in college, I never came out for warm up because it was so hot. In South Carolina, I never came out for warm up. So it was like I never really, so it was all new to me in Green Bay. And, they had a way of doing things, and I had to adjust and adapt to that way of doing things.
The injuries, you played through a lot of injuries. You played through broken ribs. You had the turf toe that you never practiced. You just shot the toe up during the season.
Yep.
And then after the season, you end up having, you had surgery on that. How difficult was it for you? Because you're not getting the cardiovascular and man, you like that?
The thing is if I play, don't treat me like I'm injured.
Right.
I'm playing. And all the injuries I went through, if you look, it was almost like I wasn't hurt.
Right.
So my whole thing is I just need to be there on Sunday.
Right.
I understand now what to do on, Wednesday through Friday. I just need to be there on Sunday.
Right.
And I was fortunate enough to be in a position to be able to perform being nicked up in a way that I couldn't practice.
After your rookie year, you come back, you lead the league in catches, you're a first team All-Pro. And then 92, 93, you're the first receiver in NFL history to go back-to-back 100 catches. First team All-Pro. How gratifying or satisfying was it to you to I knew I could do this. It's just, now what?
Had no idea what it was I was doing. I'm just doing it. Hey, you calling a play? You know the system as well as anybody. Change right, see left, waggle right, double out. Mm-hmm. Two jet, Dino, Y shallow cross. Fox 2 X Y hook.
Yeah.
I'm just running the play.
Because you had the coach. Now you could, because at that point in time you have the coaching change. Now you got
Mike Holmgren, who coached, who came from San Francisco
with Jerry
Rice in that organization.
Yep.
So I'm not thinking about the numbers. I'm just like, hey, man, I'm running the plays. And they were like, hey, in 92, it wasn't a thing. So I'm in the MVP race, and I'm like, man, I don't want to be in the MVP race for the Miller Lite Player of the Year. I don't know what this is. I don't know what leading the league in catches, yards, and touchdowns. I don't even know what that is. Steve Young, I think, won the MVP that year.
In 92, then Emmett won in 93.
So, and then in 93, yep. So I don't know what that is.
Right.
But I'm just running the plays. I got no expectation on number. The only time I ever paid attention to numbers was a dude in Denver was like, I'm better than you, Sterling. I'm better than you. Yeah, I bet you 20 grand I have more catches than you have, or more yards and more touchdowns. And I was like, bro, don't do that. So the dude in Denver bet me that. But
they stalled me out, man. Coach Reed stalled me out.
I never once paid attention to the numbers.
Right.
I never did. I just was, they called the play, I ran the play to the best of my ability. and the numbers just added up.
Before you got the Triple Crown, did you know what the Triple Crown was?
It wasn't a thing. I didn't know the Triple Crown was a thing until the year Cooper Kupp did it. The Rams called me and asked me if I would send a video message to them that they would play during a game that, I don't know if it was a playoff game or a regular season game for Cooper Kupp. I didn't even know it was a thing.
Because I think Jerry had done it in 90.
Jerry did it first.
Yes.
And then I did it in 92. And remember Smith. Now, in 89, I had led the league in catches and touchdowns.
Right.
So, didn't even know what that was. Just, I'm playing. Right. All I'm doing is playing. So, I had no idea the magnitude of what that would turn out to be.
Being the number one option, because it doesn't matter what defense they throw. You know, every Wednesday when they go in there, they circle you. Mm-hmm. We've got to stop him. Mm-hmm. You're going to get their best. You're going to get the Eric Allens. You're going to get the Deion Sanders. You're going to get the Neil Williams. You're going to get the Darrell Greens. You're going to get the best. Mm-hmm. And to be able to go out there every single week and function and do your job, did you feel any added pressure?
No, because guess what? They got a job to do and I got a job to do. But guess what? Just like I'm over here, if quarterback sees what he likes, I may get it. If he doesn't, he goes elsewhere. My whole thing was, I just want to be in the right place at the right time. Mm-hmm. And if you need me, you throw it to me. And the only thing I ever said to our quarterbacks in the 7 years I played was before we went out on the field or before introductions or whatever the case may be where I had that moment, I would always say to our quarterbacks, let us help you. Mm-hmm. Just let us help you. Let us help. But I try to explain this to people to the best of my ability. Man, I never cared about numbers or rankings or any of that. I was doing what I wanted to do and playing. And when I got Mike Holmgren in 92, I understood what I got.
Right.
I got a system that would allow me at the receiver position to end football games. Mm-hmm. And I was like, ooh, that's a lot. Because when you can end you know, usually, and you would know this playing for Mike, who was in San Francisco Shanahan at one point. You throw to get the lead, you run to keep it.
Yep.
So we're going to get the lead, and then we're going to turn it over, in your case, TD.
Yep.
We threw to get the lead, and we threw to end the football game. And I was at the beginning and the end of both of those.
Right.
That is, and that, which is really ironic because of all the debating on who's the greatest, you know, Michael or LeBron. And you go, Michael had the system, the triangle. Go, yeah, but, you know, he's Michael Jordan. Well, then you look at LA and Kobe had the triangle with Phil, and there's 5 out there. And then you look at Steve Kerr and Golden State, there's 4 there. We know what San Francisco did in the system. When I got that system, which allowed me to not have to change, Mike never once cared about if I weighed 221 or 224. The system allowed me to end football games. Oh, that was different. And if there was one thing that I would like to change, is I would like to play one more year in that system selfishly because of what that system provided for me to do.
John Gruden, I think Gruden was your position coach, wasn't he?
Was my last 2 years, yeah.
He compared you to Michael Jordan. He said, the more times Sterling touches the ball, the better chance we have to win. It's no different than when the Chicago Bulls rolled Michael Jordan to 3 championships. What was Gruden like?
Okay.
Was he always that animated?
Yes. Extremely intelligent. I'm not going to say smart. He was extremely intelligent. He's always looking, you're on first down. He's like, well, I'm 3rd and 2. I'm going to do this. He's always there. Mm-hmm. John was always the kind of person that would be like, hey, can you stay for a minute? I want to show you something. And build my game. I had 3 outstanding position coaches, Buddy Guys, Sherm Lewis, John Gruden, and they all took my game as high as they could before I got the next one. So it wasn't like, you know, Buddy for 4 years, he couldn't take me any higher. Sherm for 2 years, Sherm for a year, and then I got Gruden for 2 years. And what John gave me, he was energetic, intelligent. And he was always thinking 2-3 moves ahead, which benefited me tremendously.
Those years with Jerry and Michael, that was kind of the competition, although Andre Rison.
As far as going to the Pro Bowl and who thought
Chris
who
Carter.
was better and all that.
From 92 to 94, you had 314 receptions, 3,854 yards, 42 touchdowns. That same time frame, Jerry had 292, 4,203, and 38 touchdowns. There was that competition. Well, who's really the best receiver in the NFL currently right now? Is it Sterling Sharpe in Green Bay, or is it Jerry in San Francisco?
If you say so, I didn't know that. Like I said, I just rolled out, put my helmet on, rolled out there and tried to, put up some. I was playing, man. I'm playing football. All that other stuff is for fans. That's the fan stuff.
Right.
Enjoy that. I'm playing football, and so, but like I said, when I got Mike Holmgren in that system, and I got Sherm Lewis and John Gruden and Mike Holmgren calling the plays and talking to me like you and I are sitting here talking. He gave me something that I never ever had before. And Buddy McCall tried to give it to me, but I didn't understand it. I had ownership. Usually when you're the quarterback, yes, you're going to have ownership. I was a receiver and I had ownership of our offense.
Wow.
And that was something that I didn't understand, but I went with it.
Right.
And that was really cool having Mike Holmgren talk to me during games and be like, what are they doing what do you see on third and this? What do you like? Oh, well, because I had ownership, it was really cool to be a part of that system and that offense for the length of time I got to play in it.
Have you ever thought about your Mount Rushmore receivers? Had you continued, let's just say you play another 5 years.
It's unfair. And I have constantly shied away from it because no one's going to have Don Hutson first. Don Hutson had 99 touchdowns when they were throwing the ball twice a game. 99 when they were throwing it 2 times a game. No one's going to add him. No one's going to have, when I mention Charlie Hennigan, nobody's going to mention them.
Lance Allworth.
No one's going to mention Lance. No one's going to mention Raymond Berry. And I'm like, how fair is it? Because you're only going to talk about what you see. I'm not going to do that to those guys because they were actually hella receivers in their own right.
Do you think anybody's going to break Jerry's record?
Which one?
197 career touchdown catches. He has 207 total. 22,000 yards.
It'd be hard to say no because the
adding games and they're throwing
and the rules that are set up for them to do it.
Yeah.
So do I think someone will do it? Yes. Only because of the way the game is going. Remember when in our day, defenses could impose their will on you.
Yes.
They could deter you from 6 catches and 4 touchdowns a year. They can't do that now. The players don't want to do that now.
Right.
So yeah, somebody will break that. Eventually, yeah, somebody will break it.
Jim Brown had a quote, rest his soul. He said, he could play in any era.
Greatest quote, greatest compliment I ever got athletically. Greatest compliment I ever gotten athletically.
How different is the game today than when you played?
Other than the defenses imposing their wills, and you don't have to be a technician. I prided myself in being a technician. Mm-hmm. I'm getting out of my break with the best of them. Dion was a lot faster, and I'm developing a counter to his speed, a counter to Dion, and we're using Dion because he's one of the greats. I'm using prime. Dion's speed, I got to counter it with power. There ain't no sense in me and you running 40, 50, 60 yards. You're probably going to win that one. Okay, there's sense to be doing. But I tell you what I will do. Let's see what you look like after 8 catches, and you got to make 6 tackles. Let's see what you look like after 8 slants, 8 hitches, 8 comebacks, 8 curls. Because now I'm putting him in what I feel, ain't got nothing to do with him. I'm putting him in what I feel his uncomfort zone is. Hanford Dixon and Frank Minifield, Albert Lewis and Kevin Ross, Carl Lee and Najee Muhammad, straight up bump and run corners. I got
T-Mac and watching the Lionel.
Yes, I gotta counter what you do well. What in countering what you do well, I'm bringing power. I'm bringing 220 pounds, and I want contact. You know, back then they didn't have smoke, but I wanted that smoke. I want to see you make this tackle, because that was my way of imposing my will on them.
Andy Reid said if you didn't get hurt, you would go down as maybe the greatest receiver to play the game. How was Andy as a coach? Andy was a tight end coach.
Yes. Fun-loving, outstanding, very intelligent, and really in tune with the team. What Mike Holmgren did was prepared all those guys to be head coaches.
Yep.
He did a really good job of that. I love Mike to this day because he was a lot like I try to be. He just gave it away. You want information? Here it is.
Right.
You want money to a fault? Here it is. You want time? Here it is. And Andy Reid is a spitting image of Mike Holmgren because you see how Patrick Mahomes plays without restriction. Just give it away. Go ahead and play your way. I'll adjust.
Wow.
Loved the way Andy was with me in Green Bay and how he's doing now in Kansas City.
Who's the toughest corner you played against?
Ricky Reynolds in Tampa, Don Griffin in San Francisco, and in my division also, I would say Carl Lee. Ricky Reynolds and Don Griffin were technically sound, as fast as me, wanted to make every tackle.
Yeah.
Carl was difficult because he was long. He had really good speed. He wasn't above average in speed, but he was long. And he was technically probably the most dominant corner technically that I played against.
Right.
Because he was all about the positions. Because if I hit my positions, I put you in the positions I need you to be in for me to cover you. So those three guys, because I played against Don, he was in my division every year, and then I played against Carl, who was in my division every year.
Because you faced time, what, once or twice?
Twice here. Once at Fulton County, once in the Dome.
Right.
And
Time said he ain't want no problems. He said you were just too strong.
Only because of what he brought at the time, what he brought to the table. In Fulton County, he was everywhere. Inside, outside, he followed me. When we played in the Dome was the probably the only time I remember, Tim McKay, hey man, what you doing here? It ain't gonna end well for you. And only because that's how I talk. I was trash talking, friendly but personal.
Right.
But those three guys, Carl Lee, Don Griffin in San Francisco, Ricky Reynolds in Tampa, technically were the three probably when you talk in cover and tackling, because you had to block them.
Right.
Because they wanted to make the tackle on the running back, so you had to block them. They were probably the three technically most sound guys I played against.
Who's your favorite player to watch? When you're standing on the sideline and you watching somebody else?
Anthony Carter, by far. And I'm not talking, I probably can't tell you a catch Anthony Carter made in the NFL. But when I saw number one in Michigan, I was like, that's it right there.
Yeah.
That right there is what I want. I know what I want to be now.
Right.
I want to be that right there. Anthony Carter was my favorite player. And I met him once in the airport after he and I were both done playing. Right. Anthony Carter, when he was at Michigan, there ain't nobody better.
What was your favorite route?
Smoke.
Man, you just want to catch a hitch?
Yes, sir. If you throw it 40 yards and I go 70, if you throw it 15 yards and I go 40, but if you throw it behind the line of scrimmage and I run over two guys and pick up 14 yards, they remember. You remember. And so I just wanted the ball in my hands. So when I got Mike Holmgren and he called smoke, thunder, and smoke, thunder, Omaha, man, three-step
Lion,
Denver, Colorado. When we got those where we were just running hitches, slants, stops, slant goes, get it to me as quick as possible.
Do you have a pregame routine?
No one could touch my hands. So I was never a high five.
Right.
Nobody, because I said if nobody can touch my hands, nobody can get in my head. But my pregame routine was when I got one in the NFL, because remember, I didn't come out in college. And the NFL was just to come out and just to be out, enjoy looking around, stadium, fans, see friends that you developed. I got a chance to spend time with you on the, during pregame.
Maybe you were out in the line at Tampa. Y'all was on the road to Tampa, and I was in the pregame line.
Pregame line, high-fiving us when we came out. And Lindy was like, "Who the hell is that?" I was like, "It's my brother."
They invited me to come back because you showed out. You had over 100.
Yeah, sure did. But no, I didn't really have a pregame routine. I was just more of, I'm ready to go. Let's go.
Right. You played with Terry Crews. What was T. Crews like, man?
I thought, and it just showed, Terry was one of the guys that showed me I didn't know what I was looking at.
Right.
But he was fun. He worked hard, and I say he really wanted the NFL.
Right.
He put in the time. He put in the effort. And I was really, I can say I was disappointed when Terry got let go because I thought with his size, his strength, and his speed, he would definitely make our team.
Right. The playoffs, you had a couple. Your first playoff game, Detroit. 3 touchdowns, the game-winning touchdown. What do you remember about that game?
That I was trying to come out on the game-winning touchdown. I was trying to come out of the game because of my
Get that turf toe.
Turf toe. We ran flanker drive and the guy fell on it. And Robert Brooks is standing from me to you and I'm trying to tell him to come in the game. And Mike is telling Brett the play. 25, double square out.
Yep.
Mark Clayton. So we as the receivers made the decision that we're not going to switch sides.
Right.
What we're going to do is Ed West goes left. Mark, now as the X, you're the flanker, step off. 25. Kevin Scott standing right there. I know the safety's coming over the top, so it's 3 cloud. Brett takes his drop, looks at Mark Clayton. There is no one within 100 miles of Mark Clayton. No one. Brett could have underhanded the ball, and it would have been a catch, and Mark would have probably gotten to the 1. 3 cloud, corner squats, everybody rolls over, safety's right behind me. I'm running, I run to Kevin Scott kind of drifts. Well, our tight end, I think it was Ed West, pops wide open on the basic cross. And the safety that was supposed to be over the top jumps him. And Brett goes, it's the only time I've ever seen his eyes. I've caught a lot of deep balls from Brett, but usually, when you run a deep route, you look up.
Right.
So it was the only time, and it was almost like he was like, Clayton, no, I'm going to move. And he just let it go. Game, set, match, Tracy Austin.
The contract, you had some contract issue with the Packers. They promised you one thing, and then it didn't happen. You go through training camp, you do everything, and then the night before the first game.
Which is how it's supposed to be done. Yes. And I'll say this. Worked out well for me because after that season, I never played another down. So with those monies, I was able to secure most of my future because I got to increase my insurance, not knowing. I got to secure my family's future based on that decision of holding out of the first game. I was going to miss the first game, and I was going to do it, but it worked out.
Your final season, you have 94 catches, 1,119 yards. The 18th touchdown is still currently tied for the third most touchdowns in a single season. When
there's only one person happier, 2 people, than me, that my career ended. And that was the 2 specialists that said you should never play football again. They were happy. They were like, hey, based on what we see, you shouldn't play football again. I hopped off the table. I was like, okay, appreciate that information, Doc. And because remember, all I wanted to do was play.
Right.
I wasn't playing for a length of time or status or to be on someone's Mount Rushmore or be considered one of the great. I just wanted to play.
Right.
And I did that. And so when it was time for me to find something else to do, The American dream was you go to college and get your degree, and it allows you to compete with anyone for a position or a job. I had my degree, and I was like, I couldn't, once I get out of this neck brace, I'm going to be able to compete. And lo and behold, I ended up in TV. But in my career, my job ended the way it was supposed to, because I would probably be still trying to play if it didn't.
What do you remember? Because I remember watching the game and I saw you blocking your former teammate Brad Edwards for the Falcons, and then you just like collapsed.
What you didn't see being in Denver was I had been having episodes in 1989. My left side went numb.
Okay.
Just standing here talking to the guys at practice one day, left side went numb. In 1991, my right leg, left shoulder would just go numb. The end of 91, I could control my hand, but I had no feeling in it. So I started having symptoms. And then I started having a lot more my last season. Holding my head down, I could feel my spine vibrating. And when you hit your spine, it feels like you're on fire.
Right.
And I would be like, ooh, that burns. So I started having episodes, and I kind of had an idea what it was.
Right.
But you go, you still can do everything, so you keep doing it.
Lying on the field, you lay there for like 3 minutes, and I remember you telling me I was trying
to get up.
Yeah.
But I had no strength to get up. And then Andre Rison, one of my best friends, Andre Rison is talking to me, and he is making me laugh. So Andre and I'm laying on the field. I can move, but I can't control my movement.
Right.
But I'm laughing with this fool.
Right.
And then Brad comes over, and he's like, Sterling, you okay? I'm like, yeah, I just need to, because I'm trying to figure out
what's going on.
Why can't I can move, but why can't I get up?
Right.
And then all of a sudden, the feeling came back, and I was fine.
Right.
And I remember before that, I caught a touchdown pass on the right side. Well, the corner hits me, and I turned my left ankle so bad that I tore the tape. And I used to get taped to my skin.
Right.
So when you tear that tape, that's severe.
Yeah.
And my ankle was about this big. And in hindsight, that was a signal for me to be like, shut it down.
Right.
But I'm like, no, retape it. Take that back up.
Right.
And we'll make it go again. And so I knew after that game that I probably was not going to play again.
But you played the following week because you go to Tampa.
Only because we needed to have a home playoff game.
Right.
And I told Mike, I said, hey, if you're going to get it to me, you better get it to me early. Because I don't know how long I'm going to be in this game.
Right.
And I had, this thing was about that big, and I don't practice all week.
Right.
And I ended up with, I don't know the particular numbers, but I
9 for $132 and 3 touchdowns. That was the last time you ever caught a pass in the NFL.
But I knew if you're going to get it to me, you better get it to me early. Because I don't know how long I'm going to be in this one.
You re-injured the neck. When you I think Thomas Everett glazed you as he went by.
Didn't even, the thing was, is like I said, the episodes that I was having, I remember one night laying in bed and Luger, my rock, barked. And I jumped up and hit my spine and fell back and was like, I could move, but I had no control over my movement.
Right.
So I had symptoms for like 9 weeks that was, leading up to this is it. Which made it easier for me because it wasn't like one hit, that's it. I had enough telltale signs that it was like, this is it.
Did you ever think about coming back?
No. I think I can say this now. It's been enough time. Jerry Jones called me at ESPN and asked me, Sterling, could you play? And I said, yeah. But Jerry, I'm not going to play football anymore. When I was doing TV in 1995, asked me if I could play.
Right.
But no, I never considered coming back because what am I coming back for? Because I did what I wanted to do.
Right.
And that would be moving the goalpost on God because I asked him to let me play. And if I come back to play, I'm moving the goalpost, which is unfair, and I didn't want to do that.
When the Packers waived you, did you have any emotions where they're like, bro, I mean, y'all didn't give me a chance?
No, I understood. Well, we knew I wasn't. Here's the only thing that the Packers did that bothered me.
Right.
Not one person called to say, how'd your surgery go? Because they're fixing my spine.
Right.
I could roll out of there and never walk again.
Right.
I could die on the operating table. Not one person from the organization said, hey, how'd your surgery go?
Not the coaches?
Not one person from the organization was like,
Wow.
hey, look, man, God, we're pulling for you. Let us know if you need anything. Not one person in the organization checked up. That was the only thing that I wasn't bothered. I was disappointed in. You don't owe me anything. But as men, a common decency, common courtesy, and the fact that was life altering. Not one person from the organization. I don't think you understand. That's player, trainer, front office, coach.
Damn.
No one. That's the only thing that bothered me.
Not one player.
Not one player. And I got no problem with that because, hey, look, man, we understand how cutthroat the business is. The season just ended. We just lost to Dallas in the divisional round, I think it was, for a chance to go to the NFC Championship game. All this is happening. And so I get it. You leaving Green Bay, getting out of the cold. You're trying to figure out. Some got contracts, babies being born. Hey, man, life happens. But not one person from the organization was like,
how did the thing go?
yes. And the bother was, that's odd. That a common decency, and I'm saying a common.
Yeah.
A common decency.
That's not asking too much.
No, I didn't ask. Hey, look, I understand organization-wise, you got to find, do you have the receivers in the room that we can go from where we are and keep going upward? I get that. What pieces are we going to bring in to help us? I get that. Not one person, trainer, no one. Bothered me to the point I was okay. Man, I'm like, as soon as I got out of my brace, Doc said, your neck is solid. I was like, okay, I'm good. And then, everything fell into place with ESPN. I was off and running. And it was so funny that I never thought about it until the Hall of Fame happened. And when the Hall of Fame happened, now I start to hear from people in the organization. And I'm saying to myself, how do I feel about that? Honestly, like, you know what? When I was at my proverbial lowest, never heard from them. What you would perceive as my highest, I really don't need to hear from y'all. I'm not mad. I'm not disappointed. It's just
because none of the people that
you can't have one without the other.
Right.
Now, granted, there's a lot of change and turnover.
All change.
All change and turnover from when I was there until now. But still, it was
Still
just
stings a little bit.
It not sting. It doesn't have the value it should.
Right.
And I was just like, the Green Bay Packers were gracious enough to throw me a Hall of Fame party at the Hall of Fame. And I did everything that I could to get them not to. Because I'm like, I don't feel comfortable accepting that.
Feeling this way about
Ooh, but Kathy and the Green Bay Packers have been wonderful. This group of folks have been wonderful.
How many from the former Packers, like when you were there, the organization, do you think will be at the ceremony on Saturday?
I have no idea. I do know Don Mikowski. I will say I believe Ron Hallstrom. Mm-hmm. But I really don't know. I'm not that guy. I'm not nostalgic. Man, I live 20-something miles from the University of South Carolina. I ain't never been back to watch a game. I've never been to alumni weekend in Green Bay. I'm not that guy. I mean, I did what I wanted to do and, man, have at it. I'm just not built that way to be I think of my teammates, I probably talk to 2, maybe 3, Keith Woodside, Perry Kemp, Clarence Weathers, Don Mikowski. Every now and then, he and I'll link up. I'll see him somewhere. But I loved all my teammates. I loved playing with them. Leroy Butler, who was a Hall of Famer. But I don't talk to a lot of them.
When you leave, you don't play in 95, you retire, and the next 2 years, the Packers go to the Super Bowl. They win one, they lose one. Did you damn?
No. I didn't play football to go to a Super Bowl. Didn't play football to go to the Hall of Fame. Didn't play football to be an All-Pro. Didn't play football to go to the Pro Bowl. I did know that the first year I went, I took Libby. And I wanted to go back so I could take you. And then the next time I was like, the next time I go back is when he plays in one. If he don't play in one, I ain't going back. And the next time I went, you made it. Yeah. So I'm not, like I said, I'm not built that way. Green Bay going, at least I had an idea. A lot of the guys were still on the team of what they were going through to get there. Andre Rison slid into the number 84, caught a touchdown. I was extremely happy for him in that success. But no, it never bothered me.
Now, we're less than a week away from going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And they're 382, 383.
I'm 382.
But we're the first set of brothers.
Yes. That's cool.
Of over 25,000 men that have played, coached, owned, general managed. Over 25,000 men, we're the first 2 brothers.
Wow.
Have you thought about what that meant?
Yeah. 2 little black boys from Glenville, Georgia, that didn't have a male figure in the household after age 11 and 13 or 10 and 13. That was pretty much predominantly raised by women that didn't live in a house with running water until 1988. Absolutely. It's just, it's God's gift to being on a path, not deviating from that path, not trying to alter that path, and not trying to change. You know what? We could always get there from where we were. Right. Yeah, man.
What receiver reminds you of you today?
None. Anquan Bolden.
That's what I was going to say.
Anquan Bolden was probably the one.
T.O.
T.O.
But you met T.O. before.
I knew T.O. Yeah. T.O. and I go way, way back. I want to say T.O. was in high school when I met T.O. T.O. kind of in a way. I don't know if he is then I'm going to say physical in a sense. I don't think he loves contact like I did.
Right.
But T.O., maybe Debo Samuels, who's a South Carolina Gamecock also. Debo just got to stop getting hurt, man. I need you every day, Debo. But Debo reminds me a lot of me. Yeah.
If you could play with any quarterback currently playing today, who would you like to play?
Currently playing. Joe Burrow. And I'm going to say Joe Burrow because I would like to help him. I'm not, hey, Jamari's done it,
Yeah.
Hey, man,
Yeah.
that cat's special. But I think Joe Burrow, just from what I have seen since he's been in the league, since he left Ohio State, actually went to LSU, what I've seen, I think I'd like to play with him just to see what he sees and hear what he says and how he talks. Playing with Patrick Mahomes would be like playing with Brett. I've already done that. Believe it or not, Patrick Mahomes has a lot more Mike Tomczak than he does Brett Favre.
Really?
T-Zack will flip it to you, throw it behind his back, call a running play, miss the handoff, roll out, and be like, here's a flip, touchdown right here. Lamar, I'd like to play with Lamar Jackson too. I go back and forth because I've had this conversation with myself. Joe Burrow or Lamar Jackson are the 2 I think I'd love to play with, just to get a feel for their game and what they see.
You left the game, and I think the thing is about golf is that I don't think I'm off base saying this, that you love playing golf more than you ever loved playing football.
By far. I make on average 74 decisions around, and ain't none of them right. Ain't none of them right. Whether it's the right club or the right line on this putt or the right shot shape to hit or the right club. 74, 76 decisions, and they're all wrong. But you know what? You accept them. And remember, you ain't doing this for Tiger or Scotty Scheffler or Jack Nicklaus. You out here playing for you. It's the exact same way and the exact same parallel that I had playing football. So if I shoot 78, ain't nobody happier than me. If I shoot 68, ain't nobody happier than me. Cause I'm doing this, I'm playing this, I'm out here for me and me alone. So it's wonderful. Like I said, I love the fact that I got to make a decision. And I got to support and live with that decision. And don't nobody care about the decision I make but me.
You ever played against Jordan in golf?
Not against him, no. Not even with him. I played behind him and in front of him, but not even when he would go into Tahoe, not even with him.
Right. Mm-hmm. If y'all played, you think you beat him?
Nowadays, he would probably, I have lost a lot, man. Which was wonderful. We haven't talked about my eye surgeries. I've had enough eye surgeries that my life and game has changed.
Yeah.
And I've had my body atrophied, lost strength, distance. I don't know how much Mike is playing with small kids, and I don't know how much he's playing, but I can still get it around. It just,
it's different.
Yeah, it's like, driving a car, but it's not a Ferrari or a Lamborghini, but it'll take you and get you where you need to go.
Well, you mentioned the surgery, and since you brought it up, you had a very serious eye issue.
3. And got another one. I had a retina that was detached, that tore, that had a cataract removed, and now have a hole in my retina as I'm sitting here right now.
Right.
So I was supposed to have surgery the Monday after the Hall of Fame induction. But I was like, will I be able to fly to Green Bay on September 11th to get my ring? And he said, ooh, that's cutting it close. And I said, well, is it possible to postpone the surgery until after September 11th? Because we know it tore somewhere between July 3rd and last week. So my surgery is postponed until after September 11th, but I'm going to be face down, retina surgery, gas bubble, face down for X amount of hours a day for 14, 16, 18 days again. So it takes a lot out of you because, and I think I said this to you, I've never contemplated suicide. Mm-hmm. But because of what I've gone through since October with this eye, I got a great understanding of it right now. Because when you go through the 4 drops 4 times a day, you got 3 drops 3 times a day, you got 2 drops 5 times a day, and each one of those drops got to be 5 minutes apart. So when you are tired and you jump into bed, wait a minute, what's your drop regimen? When you get up and you got to get back face down, what's your drop regimen? And remember, each drop has to be 5 minutes, at least 5 minutes apart. So you get to a point where you're like, man, I the hell with these drops. But I'm doing everything I can to try and save my vision and my eye. And so it is taxing, it is trying. Because of my eye, I probably have not enjoyed being a selectee to the Pro Football Hall of Fame as much, because if you asked me in November, I'll give you a choice. I'll give you back sight in your right eye as you had it, or I will make you a Pro Football Hall of Famer. I would have chosen my right eye every day and twice on Sunday. That's how where I am with this, because it's a monster.
You just had a surgery.
I just had cataract
and you driving to
removed.
Canton.
Yeah, I just had a cataract removed July 1st. And let me tell you, what's really crazy is you're like, it doesn't seem like I'm ever going to catch. This might be the first time I lose. This might be the first time I lose. And when I say lose, I'm not in control. I don't know the outcome. I'm not prepared for the outcome. I'm like this, and there's no pain. This might be the first time I lose, which is really not difficult, but hard to understand and to carry.
Why is family so important to you?
That's all I had. When I had nothing, I had you guys. When I got what people thought was everything, I had you guys. And so when you look at family, you look at people that may not care that you are a Hall of Famer, that's great. You look at people that may be really excited that you're a Hall of Famer, that's great. You look at people that like to talk a lot, outstanding. You look at people that don't talk. I mean, I go home to see Libby, and we may say 15, 20 words a day, you know, and people are like, what, really? I mean, you and I used to be together, and we would say, hey, man, what do you want to eat? Hey, you want to go to the movies? Yeah, okay. I mean, it wasn't like there were a lot of verbiage. So, you know, family is everything because you don't have to do and be a certain way to be around them or with them.
Bro, congratulations.
Thank you.
One half of the first brothers in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
The best half of the first brother in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
The lady at Sweet and Savory ATL, she said, I want to do something special for your brother. I said, well, his favorite cake is, at last I checked, it's probably red velvet or German chocolate.
Ain't no problem.
She said, I said, can you get it done? She said, I would love to get it done.
Oh,
so
man.
She made this. This is a Sweet and Savory ATL.
Sweet and Savory. Oh, thank you. I think I DM'd her.
Yes.
About one of her cakes she had online.
Yep.
I think I was like, ooh, I need to get one of those.
Yep. So,
but no, thank you very much. Sweet and Savory ATL. Yeah, we gon' this here
he got a sweet tooth. The half of that'll be gone by
this here might not make it back to Columbia. Yeah, this here, we gonna knock a hole in that right there.
All my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice, that's why. All my life, I've been grinding all my life. Look, all my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice, that's why. All my life, I've been grinding all my life.